Welcome, Speed Gaming fans! My name is Dang Wu, and the guy next to me in the booth is Greggly Puff, and we are here to bring you more exciting action of the 2019 Spring Final Fantasy Tournament. This is round number 4 of the Swiss opening rounds, and I want you all awesome fans out there to give this match some bless RNG while we introduce all of our background, or behind-the-scenes crew. Tracking is an important thing, as you all know, and we have Eliger Brap doing that for us tonight, so make sure to give him a little clap and all that kind of good stuff for him. He's doing a heck of a job tonight for us. As I kind of mentioned in the opener today, Greggly Puff is my broadcast partner tonight, and he is also doing his first casting of an event. Greggly, I'd like to first of all welcome you to the broadcast booth and get an idea of how your nerves are holding up so far.
Well, thank you so much, Dingwell. I'm glad to be here to broadcast here on Speed Gaming 2, this awesome match between jkoper and Braxis Muse. Nerves are kind of, they're there. They're there. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try not to sound the way. We're going to do this. We're going to make this happen, and Dingwell, I'm excited to do this with you.
I'm just as excited as you are, sir. But on your way up to the booth, I hope you managed to avoid the White Mage. He seemed to be a little angry ever since Saturday night. I hope you avoided him.
Yeah, see, what happened was, and this was really weird, sometime Sunday night, the thief, he went on ahead and just decided to go all rogue and become the captain of the ship. He went on ahead, he was like, you know what, guys, I am taking over this thing. So right now it looks as if we have a forced thief, and he looked at that White Mage and he said, excuse me, you gotta go. So he threw that thief, or that White Mage overboard, and this is what we have. We've got a forced thief, and we've got a banned White Mage going on this particular week here.
Poor White Mage. But besides our band and our captain, what else can we expect from these flags? Because for our newer fans out there, they haven't really probably experienced what exactly is going on with.
Well, basically what's happening right now is they introduced a brand new flag specifically for this tournament, and that is Free Canal. So basically, you can get the ship and you can go anywhere in the world. You do not have to turn in the TNT to get the canal. You don't have to find the canal in the chest somewhere. So the whole world is pretty much your oyster at that point once you find that ship. We also have open extended progression, which means we've got docks over in the Onrak continent and docks up near Mirage Tower and docks south of the Ryukon Desert where the airship is located. So a lot can happen once you find that ship. Also, we have incentivized marsh, we have incentivized ice, our two favorite places to go. Am I right?
Alright. I appreciate that. And why don't you do the honors and introduce our two runners? Because I know you already kind of introduced them, but why don't you give them a little more in-depth?
Well, let's go on ahead and talk about jkoper. jkoper, a little bit newer to the community. We are doing a 1 and 2 race, so both of these racers have won a race and have lost 2 races leading up to this 4th week here. jkoper, his first win was against Pizzapotamus in week 1, and then took a couple of hard losses against Edgeworth and Doogie MacGyvers in week 2 and 3 respectively. Braxis Muse, however, took a loss to Len the Cat and Tyrannex, and then got a bye last week. So that's where we are right now. Braxis Muse actually came into the community around the same time you and I did. He's kind of a freshly graduated duckling, as we like to call it.
Yes, and it was a privilege playing with him. He was pretty good about it, and I gotta admit, what kind of jumps out to you with these party comps? It looks like the same thing here. We have no black mages, 1 thief, which was the captain, obviously, 1 fighter.
Yeah, I mean, this is this is pretty much the party comp I would expect to see from these people, considering the thief is forced. I mean, you know, we could see some BB strats, but that's only something a crazy person would do. Like, I don't know who would do something like that. But we've got, you know, fighter, 2 red mages. You could bring a black mage along to make sure that you could get all of the black magic, but I think the double red mage is the right play, and it looks like we're going on, so let's do this.
jkoper instantly re-rolls. Oh, okay. He accidentally forgot to start off. So level 1 black magic, ice, lock, confuse, stop. Okay. Ice, very helpful in my match against crab cakes. I missed that spell and it cost me. So that's a good spell to pick up. Harm 4 if they can't have a white wizard, so they can't get that.
It looks like Cure 3 is completely locked out, whereas that, what was that, Harm 4 that is red wizard learnable?
Yep. It is, yeah, white wizard, or, well, the red wizard can learn it. But that's after promotion. We got a falchion, wooden staves, silver axes. Way too expensive, though. Houses for 3,000.
Yeah, house is very expensive right now. They're both kind of staring at the screen, deciding what they want to do as far as moving forward to Temple of Fiends.
Not easy magic. Garland is not necessarily going to be easy. On the left, you have jkoper equipping the falchions. He's going to be able to attack, maybe confuse, cast the ice spells on Garland. Our first encounter of the imps on the right from Braxis. He's just running.
Yeah, black magic's not looking too hot. I mean, stop. That's an AoE spell that can obviously paralyze people, but I mean, as far as actual offensive magic, it looks like all we had was ice there.
Would like to give a little thanks to Library Nerd for the Twitch Prime subscribe. Appreciate. On the left, jkoper's going to go right up against Garland. On the right, Braxis is going to take the trip, check out some chests.
Got 7 grand. Oh, close to 10 grand in those 2 chests there. Whereas the Garland battle's going on the left screen.
Yeah. Some great hits so far. Oh, yeah, and the Garland goes down. Those falchions doing work for jkoper. Manages to kill Garland at the 155. King gives us the tail, so if they get an early floater, that Harm 4 could be doing work, but he gets a ruby. What does that tell our runners here?
I don't know. It looks like it could potentially be one of those meme strats where you use the ruby to get to Sarda and get something really good.
That would be interesting, but you got to get that ship first.
Yeah. jkoper really needing that money that was in that one chest right now. Looks like Braxis made it through. Only a couple of light warriors alive, but at least he's got that 10 grand out of there. So he should be able to get some pretty good gear heading towards wherever he decides to go, whether it be towards the Provoca city or towards the Dwarf Cave area.
And looks like jkoper is going to go north. Going to go check out... he saves there. He's going to check out the Provoca. If Provoca is not Provoca or Crescent, I would more than think he's going to reset out and check out Matoya's.
Good reset.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, good reset out of that unrunnable Wolves and Grey Wolves battle. And it looks like the run 2 there is pretty good. We got Lefane right in Provoca. That's nothing anyone wants to see.
I mean, Lupa.
Yeah, I mean, they could talk to the guy, get a bunch of Lupa action going on. I mean, not really helpful right now.
Well, while Braxis is in the shop, jkoper had reset. He's heading over to Matoya.
Looks like
Steve gets poison touched.
Yeah, Ogre's got poison touch here.
Silver axe, iron bracelet, dragon armor. Okay, so we got some more endgame armor for the knight when he gets promoted.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff not really too terribly helpful at this particular moment. I mean, obviously the dragon armor will be great once they get the floater and do class change.
We got Braxis Muse is a little bit slower out of the gate. He got the 10,000 gold that was in the upper left chest of Temple of Fiends. He's going to do the same save jkoper's doing. He's going to check out Matoya's first. And then, of course, he will find the bad luck of Provoca that is Lefane. would like to give a little welcome to Falconic in chat. ETAP, who points out that the level 1 black magic reminds him of my run against Crab Cakes. It's almost the same magic.
Looks like Mama Duck's in chat too. Say hello to her.
Hi, Mama Duck. Quack, quack.
Quackity quack quack. Well, Braxis Muse has found the exact same. I mean, it's not disappointment. Obviously, the dragon armor is always a good thing to see, but probably want to see it later on when you can actually use it. So it looks like he.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, it looks like he's heading towards Lefane, or Provoca, to find out that it is, of course, the city of Lefane. And again, another kind of disappointment in that regards.
I believe he's saved after Matoya, so he'll probably instantly reset out. He's going to meet up with jkoper. Just kind of recap once again, jkoper has a lot less money than Braxis Muse, so he doesn't have the camping equipment that Braxis has.
Did you notice if either of the runners checked the bottom left chest in Temple of Fiends? I know Braxis went to the top two.
Braxis did. I don't remember what it was, and we're about to find out.
Oh, just more money. Looks like those ponies had stun touch. It's not fun.
Not fun. It's a good thing you don't run into him very much. jkoper now is going to have the camping equipment Braxis has, so now he's going to probably be hanging out in the Canaria for a little bit. I'm surprised by Braxis' move. He's only got 30 heal potions, but the dwarves have a cabin and some more gold.
Again, not like insanely great stuff there, but you know, a cabin's always good. It's always good to have camping gear this early on in the game.
Lyra and points out Apocalypse Ponies. Welcome, Lyra. Pleasure as always. You and I did a little commentary session. jkoper is buying heal potions, probably for the marsh dive. You never know how dangerous. Ogre's got Stinger. That's always fun.
Yeah, Stinger, one of those annoying spells that takes a long time to do the animation for and waste all your pure pots.
Especially early on, it's really rough because sometimes you might not have the money to be able to purchase all that. Now, the cool thing is because of the early money, they're able to get the chain armor, which is halfway decent, especially considering that they have 2 red mages who can equip them, and the fighter can also equip it. So it's not bad armor off the start.
No, not at all. I mean, chain armor has 15 absorb right off the bat, which is obviously better than the 0 absorb with no armor. So it is definitely one of the better armors you can get. And at 111, that's a pretty good price. A little bit higher than vanilla, but still a good price for good armor.
And it's been pointed out by ETAP. Creeps apparently have rub. We missed that one. Sorry about that. So we'll see if jkoper meets him. Nope, the thief, it does its job and he runs away.
Yes, thank you for chat keeping us up to date on things. Sometimes it's easy for us to miss certain things. Hello, Super Luigi. Thank you for saying hello to chat. We are both happy to be here.
We got Braxis on the right, all his characters kind of hanging down on their knees from the poison. jkoper is catching up. He just checked the dwarf cave for more gold. He's at 60 heal potions. He's in a lot better position if Marsh Cave is hurting.
No. Yeah, so I noticed that Braxis used Confuse in that last battle. Do you want to talk about like exactly what Confuse does and how the status effect if you can actually land it on an enemy?
So with Confuse, it's actually interesting. What the game does is it has whoever is confused will actually cast the level 1 fire spell. And Asps apparently have sleep on the right. So Brax, unfortunately, is having a rough time with encounters right now. Elflin is actually a Crescent. So that is a key item that we can get from the Sages.
It looks like both of our runners made it. We've got Iron Armor for 756, which is a good upgrade for our Knights. Gets you up to 22 Absorb, I think. I'm pretty sure it's 22. And then, of course, Iron and Silver shields. You know, if you want to put your money down for those kind of things.
Not a whole lot in the weapon shop, but I mean, at this point, armor is kind of the more important thing now. If you're going to get into and get out of Marsh Cave, the weapons are nice, but I didn't see any silver sword available.
No, and unfortunately, Nuke is completely locked out of this because neither runner decided to bring a black mage along. So it was slot 3, of level 6 black magic. So completely unlearnable for red wizards. But it looks like we got a canoe from the sages, so that's pretty awesome. Gives you a couple of different areas you can go to, whether you want to go to Ice, check out the original city of Crescent, or head up to Volcano if you don't want to do Marsh right away.
Yeah, now it's opened up a lot of this inner continent. They have a lot of options now. Do you go into the marsh, kind of what Etap has said, or do you kind of make a trip over to the old Crescent, see what town is in there, hope for that Provoca, which has level 2 magic. Braxis is going to make that move. Unfortunately, runs into unrunnable wolves, resets out.
Yeah, obviously I'm not the one racing, so I should not be saying if it was me, I would do this. But in all seriousness, I think that trying to find a city in which you can get decent AoE would be good. So going over to check out Crescent's actually a good call for both runners.
I think it's a pretty good call, considering that their magic is pretty bad. Going into Marsh, it's really a bit difficult. If they had a mage staff or Thor's hammer, something to kind of offset it, which are magic items, it'd be possible. And Brax is going to first look at Crescent.
Yeah, it looks like we've got Gaia, which is, of course, the city neither of these runners want to see. But as ETAP points out, we could potentially find a vendor item here, which could lead to some sort of progression. So let's see what happens here. Unfortunately, no vendor items, a lot of the same that we've seen so far. So it looks like Ice or Marsh is going to have to be a play here.
Marsh, or dare I say, maybe a level 2 Volcano dive and hope that you find something loose in the armory?
Well, I mean, it's a play. It's definitely a place you can go to see if you can find something loose or at least something good. Maybe like that Thor's hammer that you mentioned, wizard staff, mage staff, something that can do some sort of AoE to get you through the next areas.
There was a Pro Rings available in Gaia, which is
like
the old Crescent, and that was about 20,000 gold. Not very cheap, but something to look forward to. And and I think you're about to mention, Braxis makes the very gambling dive of Volcano on the right hand side.
I mean, worst case scenario in all of this is that you just check out the armor real quick, get all those chests down there. If you don't see anything you like, you can just reset out, go move on to something completely different. But looks like he's made it there pretty effortlessly and has found a ton of cash and an opal armor too, which obviously he's already got the dragon armor. Whoo, Excal. Got a lot of good stuff down here.
So the benefit of all that money is if he happens to find the one shot on the red wizard or the red mage, that's unfortunate, but kind of happens when you have level 1 and 2 characters. Unrunnable Paralisks. Okay, this could be kind of hard to deal with.
I mean, he's got castings of ice, so he should be able to, at least if he can get 2 of those off, he should be fine. Not with a roll like that. Yeah.
I would say these Paralisks rolled high in the HP.
Yeah, the birds typically have pretty high absorb anyway, so... Or not high absorb, high evade.
We're definitely going to be in for a very long road here in the beginning. The levels are not going to come quickly. Although Braxis did kill the Paralisk, that's 473 experience on 2 characters. Gives him a couple levels.
Looks like he just moved that particular red mage up from level 1 to level 4 on that one battle. Looks like jkoper's going to check out some of the other chests that Braxis Muse did not get to check out. We got an opal shield in the top left-hand corner of Fire 2. And unfortunately, Braxis Muse takes a wipe right there.
Yeah, going up against those peds, or EXP peds, as some people call them, little difficult at level 2 and 3 and 4. Especially with ice and confuse only.
I like Braxis's play, though. Try to get out of there. He knows what's in there. He knows that it's just money and weapons he can't particularly use right away, so he's going to go on ahead and see what else is going on in the world.
Yep, he's dipping out. Looks like he's gonna go back down. At this play, I mean, I guess maybe try and get some experience. Ooh, Squint coming out.
Yeah, and Ocho's with Scorch taking out Braxis Muse. I didn't see which one of them did Squint, whether it was the Ocho or the Hydra. But that's pretty ugly. This river system's pretty bad.
I can kind of see them maybe trying Marsh. The enemies there, I mean, are going to be difficult, but the attacking values are going to be a little bit lower, minus the gargoyles and the wizards.
Yeah, but I mean, with the thieves, as long as the wizards aren't runnable and you get decent turn order, you should be able to get out of that battle okay. It's just, if it ends up being a situation like the last seed you ran, where everything in Marsh is unrunnable, then they're going to have a tough time down there as well. Looks like Braxis is making that play. It looks like he's heading back towards Marsh, and he's going to see what's going on down there. Or at least head back towards that area.
I mean, the only other thing maybe is hunt off the first encounter and try and fight the Paralisks. If you can find the Paralisks encounter in the first floor or something like that, try and farm them to gain some levels so your fighters and red mages can just attack them. Ooh, a katana.
Yeah, I saw that katana right next to the opal shield. That's going to be good. Again, a lot of the stuff we're finding so far is going to be amazing once we actually get the airship and turn that tail in. We can use that katana, that dragon armor, that opal shield, that excal. But right now, I mean, this stuff is just not really useful at this moment.
No. Everything is behind that tail, and it's funny is the tail is being this ultimate bait. You know, it's just saying, you know, it's dangling out all of this great equipment that these runners can use, but they have to use it after the promotion, which requires the floater, which they can't find yet.
Yes. Well, the good thing about having the canoe now is that, you know, you've got that one part out of the way. The worst thing these runners can possibly find at this point is the ship, because then that means the whole world is open, and then the floater could be anywhere.
On the left, jkoper had a chance. Unfortunately, paralyzing touch. The thief could not do its job and get out of there with all of that nice loot.
Yeah, and he's going back for it. I mean, for me personally, especially the early game, I would at least try to get that money out of there. I mean, money in the early game is just so important to get equipment, to get spells. And I know a lot of the spells you can't use right now, but some of, you know, just to have things, buy like 1 million tents so that you can save every 2 seconds. I mean, that stuff is pretty important.
On the right, looks like Braxis is kind of farming some of the enemies outside of Elflin for some experience.
Yeah, typically I don't like, or, you know, most people don't like a play where you're farming experience instead of going towards something, but at this point, at these low levels, I mean, these guys don't really have any other choices, I don't think. I can't imagine a Marsh dive at level 4 with no good magic with this crew.
I don't either. I mean, I kind of like the jkoper going in there, trying to find the stuff, or the chest in there to try to get them set. Somebody had pointed out in chat, ETAP said that possibly going for the pro rings with all that money might be useful for that extra absorb. I mean, there's a lot of options. The hard part is making use of those options, because at this point they're so weak.
Yeah, and the pro ring also protects against like certain insta-death spells, so if you see certain things come out, you should be protected with that pro ring. I think that that's a pretty good play to just try to get that money, and like you said, head back over to Crescent, which is Gaia, and get those pro rings.
Like to welcome in One Fine Day has joined us in chat. Welcome, welcome.
Yes.
jkoper's made it out. Unfortunately, we have Hydras. They hit hard. They have Poison Touch, and I believe somebody had pointed out that they also have Rub too.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely different ways you can go about going into... Looks like Braxis is using that Confuse, and you were going to actually talk about the Confuse play a little bit earlier, and then we got kind of sidetracked on other things. Do you exactly know what that does? Like exactly what Confuse does?
So the Confuse is the enemies actually will cast, when they target either themselves or an ally, they'll actually use the level 1 fire spell. So if that enemy happens to be weak to the fire spell, they'll take a little more extra damage. If they resist it, obviously, they'll resist it. So it's an interesting change. Instead of actually attacking, they cast level 1 spell.
Yeah.
Braxis on the right is still farming. Grinding. jkoper is taking the long way around back to Elflin. It looks like he might do the marsh dive also. It looks like he might be doing a 2-man strat.
No, I think he just lost those 2 people on the way. It looks like he's about to take another wipe. And he went on ahead and reset out of that battle because those giants were not playing nice with his party. And right now, it looks like Braxis has gotten a few levels under him, taking a few of those battles.
Yeah, he's at least at triple digits with his fighter and the thief, which is nice. It still takes forever to gain levels at this point. They got to get 12 key items to get that 1.5 times multiplier on experience gain.
Yeah, because right now I think the multiplier is only 2 times plus 100, so it's not like an insane amount of experience growth, at least early on. Getting that extra 150%, of course, is always nice.
Still got grinding. Unfortunately, unrunnables for jkoper. It looks like he is rocking, I think somebody said, the giant sword. So he's at least got a pretty decent weapon that's comparable to the silver sword, which is a very good early weapon if you can find it. Not as good as like an ice sword or, the sun sword and obviously the Masa, but it is a functional weapon.
Yes, absolutely. Giant sword works out just fine. I think, like you said, it has just a little bit less damage output than the silver sword, but has a better hit percentage, if I remember correctly. But I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm incorrect on that.
Now the downside is Crescent, which is old Elflin, does not have heal potions. So if they have not stocked up on it, they're gonna have to make the trip over to either Corneria or New Gaia, which is old Crescent. And these unrunnable wolves are just eating up time for our runners right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the boat as One Fine Day at this point. I don't agree with grinding on wolves alone. I mean, there are definitely better XP battles you can take. You can hit the hard reset. You can then do a soft reset once you hit these unrunnable battles. Save yourself a little bit of time so you're not eating up so much of your time taking on a battle like this, especially without AoE.
I would agree. In some cases, Marsh Cave would be a better way to grind, especially if you're just going to attack. If you can just attack and kill things in Marsh Cave, the experience there is probably going to be better in general.
At least a little better. I agree with you. The only thing is that if it's like some marsh caves we've seen recently, and you just end up getting into these unrunnable scum battles where ice isn't going to really do anything for you, and you can't do any physical attacks on them because of their absorb, then it could be a roadblock in its own right.
Now, for as much as these wolves being unrunnables, they haven't been doing anything, which is good because they've been very numerous. So if these runners happen to get out of Marsh Cave, they should feel pretty good about these things not killing them if they happen to run out of camping equipment. They do have to worry about creeps though. They have rub, and ogres have the poison. I'm sorry. They give the poison the debuff.
Yeah. They do the stinger, and I think they also have poison touch on top of the fact that they throw out stinger, which is a big time waste.
We have the confused old snakes from Lyra. And the puns have already began. Gregory, we're in for a long, long night.
Yeah, I was about to actually say something about Lyra's comment and tell her I like it. I like what she's going for there.
On your left, jkoper is almost in Marsh Cave. You see the little swampy background in his battle scene right now. He's in the grass. He's almost there.
Yeah. Looks like he's going to go on ahead and tent up and then head on in there. He's about level 5 right now, which is a pretty good level to go in there if you're just planning on running away from things. As long as nothing nasty is happening in here. Ugh, stun touch from these scums.
And like usual, the scums, well, yeah, they're not playing fair at all. They're playing dirty.
Yeah, and unfortunately Braxis is only at level 6, so he's not that much far behind in levels. Looks like we got a little bit of money up top here. Got some gargoyles. Let's see what we're going to do in this battle. They got tons of hits.
Tons of hits. Doesn't seem like they have very much damage with it.
I know, E-Tap. Thank you. And a bunch of money. Is he going to walk it out? Yeah, I didn't think so.
So he's gonna make the dive down. Okay, we haven't seen zombies or ghouls yet. Hopefully we don't see anything too nasty for them. So far, nothing, or everything's just been attacking. Easy run from the thief. He's doing his job.
Yeah, looks like Braxis is on his way down to Marsh Cave as well, which, I think he's only like a level or 2 ahead of jkoper. Ooh, lit 3 from the ghouls. That is ugly. That is not going to be fun for these players.
Braxis immediately dips out. Lit 3 goes out again. Okay, that's 2 wipes for jkoper. Braxis, unfortunately, is going north. He's going to find out that there's only money north.
I like jkoper's of moving his thief to the front slat there, trying to give himself at least a better chance to not either get ambushed or maybe get some ambushes on his own.
Yep. Getting the initiative is good. jkoper uses the knowledge of that link chest, which is to the north where Braxis is. It actually links to this chest that he's about to check. That one right there.
Yep. Algernon 25 in chat's asking a question. Do we know that Marsh is required? Yes, unfortunately Marsh is required in the sense that it does have an incentive item. Now the incentive item here could be something that is not required, like the ruby, or not the ruby because we've already found the ruby, but it could be something like a ribbon, which is technically not required.
So Brax finds the bad news. North, the upper side of Marsh Cave was just money. He runs into the bones and crawlers, but looks like he managed to escape before they casted anything. Mucks haven't casted anything either. They were punch happy. So I think this is a pretty... a defense sword by Braxis Mute.
Yeah, defense in Marsh is always a good fun. Again, another weapon you can't technically equipped right now, but at least you can make use of that ruse spell that it casts when used as an item in battle.
Yeah, especially for this fight. If you run into something that hits hard and you know it's coming up, especially on the wizards, I would put it on my top person and try and cast a defense while trying to run if possible.
I think that's actually a great plan. Even put your thief in the front row, well, never mind. You want him to try to run away, but like put somebody in the front row, have them use defense, and then have the thief try to get out of there. Looks like we got an opal Gauntlet. Ooh, there it is, the floater. We found it here in Marsh. Marsh is obviously required at this point.
And on top of that, the wizards rolled no extra hits and hit like a wet noodle. jkoper's about to find out. Never mind. His thief does work. He gets the floater, and he's going to hightail it out here, hopefully avoiding all the ghouls and geese because, well, they have lit 3.
Yeah, so that's basically what we're looking for right now. We are hoping to avoid these scorpions that are awful in general. They are just a terrible battle to run into, vanilla or otherwise, as one takes out Braxis Muse's thief. And then these guys just gotta, like you said, avoid those ghouls and their silly lit 3s.
For the question in chat, Thunderclad, no, they are not on the same encounter table for this dive. It's been kind of switched off and on right now. I haven't seen anybody doing any hard resets while going into any of the dives yet.
Yeah, it looks like jkoper's just about 10 steps out of there. He runs into some shadows. They've got poison touch. I think he should be okay. I say that. We'll see. He's able to get out.
He sees the light. Does he heal up? Nope. He's going to take it. And he's free. Now he just has that long walk all the way back to the little desert where he gets to rise the airship. Braxis is doing the same thing. He's getting close.
Yeah, both runners out of Marsh Cave. Not a terrible time loss, at least as far as the most Marsh Caves I've seen go. So both guys out of there with the floater. They're going to head towards the airship. Dangwu, I need you to tell me, what are you going to do at this point? Are you going straight for class change and then picking up those items that they couldn't get out of fire with?
I would definitely do that. Just because of the amount of stuff that was available there. Excalibur, and I believe Opal Shield. Yeah, I would definitely do that. And then I would get any spells that I need to get because there was some level 1 the Corneria spells that were very helpful. Harm 4 at this point is useful, even though, actually they won't be able to use it because I believe they've filled up all their level 1 spells already.
Yeah, Harm 4 would definitely be good in like a Ice Cave or Earth Cave, especially since they don't have any AoE, but they should be able to visit all the cities by now and maybe find something a little bit better that all their red mages can learn, like maybe a Fire 3 or something along those lines, since we already know Nuke is locked. By the way, Dr. Amaman is asking, is there anything that requires the ship? Unfortunately, no. At this point, we don't need the ship. So the ship is, at this point, if it's loose or whatever, we don't need it. We don't need the ship. The airship is totally fine. We have the canoe. The canoe's going to get us to Ordeals, and it's going to get us to Waterfall, which are the only other 2 incentive locations that they can't get to. Or that they wouldn't have been able to get to otherwise.
Now it's just a matter of making your way over there. If you can find a good... I haven't actually seen what the level 1 encounter, or the first encounter table looks like, but jkoper going past the floater, turns around, realizes that he walked right past. They're about to high five.
Yep, looks like both these guys are high-fiving as Braxis Muse is trying to get away from this awful Cobra-Scorpion battle. And now both runners literally in the air within seconds of each other. jkoper heading right towards Sarda, I'm assuming is where he's going. And Braxis Muse heading down to Gaia and sees Melmond.
Melman, not too bad. We know where, if we get the slab, we at least know where that is. jkoper's going to visit Sarda, see what that... old man in a cave has got for us today. Steel armor for 61 grand. Not going to be buying it. And apparently on the left hand side, Sarda was holding the TNT. He's been experimenting with explosives.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a dynamite find for sure. You're right in the area. You can go on ahead. And I like jkoper's move right here. He's going to go on ahead and check these 4 free chests. See what's going on. See what that Titan is holding behind him. And then after that, I assume he's going to go on ahead and do that TNT turn in. And it looks...
He finds the pro ring. That's a very good find. Light axe, that's good too. But that's basically just going to be used on the thief to help cast against the undead. at this point because he knows Excalibur is in Volcano.
Yeah, and chat pointing out, man, this is one of those where we really needed a white mage at this point because it looks like Cure 4 and Heal 3 were both locked out of red wizards at level 5. So we're not going to see either of those spells. And based on what ETAP is showing, it looks like Fire 3 is going to be red wizard learnable.
Both of them are going to feed the Titan. They are so generous. I tell you, jkoper not going to be turning into TNT. I think he's going to do the class change.
Yeah, not about...
At least I will.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go on ahead and still look for that vendor item, which is a veteran move, by the way. Going on ahead and checking the oasis. It's always one of those things I kind of forget to do whenever I'm racing. So remembering to do that, always good. And then, of course, going on ahead and do this cardio check real quick and see what we got going on. Looks like we got a whole lot of nothing again in here. Chooses to walk it out.
He wanted the money. He's a little greedy.
Braxis is going to go on ahead and turn in that TNT, it looks like. And he's going to go on ahead and check out the city of Melman, which we haven't seen yet, which is Elfland. So you got level 3 and level 4 spells. And not a whole lot in level 3 black magic.
That was a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, this is very unforgiving as far as magic is concerned. We got exit. Finally, something that is something. It's a spell, for sure.
That is probably the best spell they've picked up so far, since it allows them to go into Ice Cave and leave once they get the incentivized item.
Looks like we got life that's red wizard learnable, so that's always a good thing to see. And Bane. We got our first AoE that I've seen so far, which is this Ice 2. I mean, AoE that these guys can actually learn at like a reasonable level.
Our class promotion on the left, but from jkoper. There's also a katana available for the ninja that was in Volcano. So that's another good thing. So we'll have Excalibur, the defense sword.
Whew. Gold rings, mega expensive in Elfland. Looks like, about 54 grand for those? I'd go on ahead and pick up those silver bracelets if you have the kind of money. They have decent enough absorb until you can afford those gold bracelets.
Some people call the Excalibur the second best. As Maverick Mechanista says, it is the X Factor.
I didn't catch what jkoper found in Cardia Marsh, did you?
A whole lot of nothing.
We're about to see what Smith has. Or, sorry, Narek has. Narek has the crown, so it looks like a little bit more of a fetch quest thing going on here.
With all that blowing up of the canals and underground, he managed to find the Dark Prince's crown.
Wait. Who? Who?
The Dark Prince?
No, you mean the kindly old king.
Oh, sorry.
What's happening here? Who is this guy? I thought we were talking to a kindly old king in a castle.
Astos, it did nothing wrong.
I'm just confused as to who this person is. There was a king in that castle, and he needed his crown, and we helped him get his crown. What is happening here? It looks like he gave us the herb, though, which is, it's kind of what he does.
So, the only thing... Astos is actually a very hard person to kill. He generally, at lower levels, has very good absorb, really good magic defense, and I'm kind of surprised Brax didn't do the Cardia turn-in and get the Excalibur and exit out. Would have made that fight a lot easier, but it turned out Astos didn't have any spell casts, so it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the routing here, he's just trying to stay in the same area, so maybe he thought that ice and the equipment he had was good enough, and luckily it all kind of worked out. He's staying kind of in the same area, not doing, flying all over the place trying to get equipment. It looks like we got a slab, so now he's going to go head back over to where Melman was, which I think was in the original Gaia. So he's got a lot of fetch questy things going on. And we already know Lefane is in the original Provoca.
You know, we were talking about Astos and how he was the kind old king. He gave us the herb. I mean, he seems pretty generous. He didn't charge us extra for it.
No, not at all. I mean, you know, he did fight you for it, but at the same time, it's not a bad trade. I mean, you give him a crown, he gives you some herb. I mean, who wouldn't like that in their life? And Brax is doing what I think most people would do in this situation. He's just going to go on ahead and just follow this chain quest. Each one of these key items that he gets is getting him closer to that extra 150%. Right now, he's trying to remember where the heck Lefane was. I think he just stood there and was like, where was Lefane again?
Looks like he's going to look for the shop item on the left. jkoper has looked. He's found exits at level 3 white magic. He's going to find life 2 that's available in the level 4 white magic.
Looks like Braxis either did forget that Lefane was in the original Provoca, or he decided to just go on ahead and get this out of the way, which either play is obviously good. Luckily, he did check Melman first, got that exit spell out of Elflin, and now he can go into these areas and exit out and make this class change a lot quicker for him.
Yeah, the exit spell, he only got 1 charge each on his red wizard or his red mages, but that's a lot better than what jkoper had. It saves them maybe 20 seconds, and those 20 seconds add up.
Yeah, I mean, I would say these runners are pretty much in a dead heat right now. They're both kind of doing a lot of the same things, just checking out all the different areas they can go to, but no one's really kind of progressed further than what Braxis has done, which is get that whole chain quest out of the way.
So we got the dragon armor. That's going to be pretty good. So far, the only reason why Braxis is in the lead, I will quote unquote say in the lead, is because he's done the TNT turn-in, which is all of these little fetch quests. So he's going to be off checking a lot sooner than the jkoper will be. And while we kind of wait for Braxis to go and kind of visit Lefane here, which is Crescent, I believe. No, I'm sorry, Elflin. Oh my god, I'm all over. It's Provoca. Gregley, why don't you kind of review how hard our runners had it in the beginning?
Well, so, imps. They come out of there, they got dazzled, they're stunning other people around, it's crazy. They kill Garland, they find a bunch of money in the Temple of Fiends, they talk to the king gives them the tail, Sarah gives them the ruby. Not really helpful right up front. They head over to there's a whole lot of Lefane in Provoca. There's a dragon armor in Matoya's cave, but not really much. So they go on ahead and head down to Marsh. Marsh has the floater, and the sages, which are in the original Elflin city, have the canoes. So right then and there, they know they can go on ahead, get the floater, get the airship, and get in the air. Let's see here. Outside of that, they head over to Sarda, who has the TNT. The TNT turns into the crown turns into the herb turns into the slab, and Braxis has translated his slab, but he has not talked to the Lefane to see what they will give him. Provoca is Lefane, Elfland is Crescent, Gaia is Melman, Crescent is Gaia, and Melman is Elfland, and it looks like Braxis is about to show us what Onrak is, and Onrak is apparently Onrak. So we got a vanilla Onrak, which means Provoca is going to be in the Lefane city. At least that's what we know so far.
And it also has our shop item.
Which was?
We don't know yet. We have to wait until they go to Lefane, or the old Lefane.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, looks like jkoper's heading back into fire, which makes sense going back into Volcano. He's got to get the that Excal that's in there, which is obviously going to be the best weapon that he can equip at this moment, aside from the defense that they found in Marsh.
And Brax does a good play. He knows that Provoca has the shop item, and it has Biggie the Pirate, who has another key item. So he's going to get 2 key items at one location, plus level 2 magic, which is going to be very helpful. Nuke has not been found, so it could be here. Fade has not been found. Another great spell.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Nuke was found. It was level 6 unlearnable. And we got Life 2 and Fade. Oh, man. That level 6 is really stacked as far as white magic is concerned. And good thing that it's actually Red Wizard, Red Mage learnable. So this is good find for Braxis. This is going to help place... Oh, and we got Warp and Temper. This is... Wow. How do you choose between 5 amazing spells in the games for these guys? I mean, obviously you can put it on your ninja, put Warp, Brack, and Temper on your ninja, and then try to figure it out what you're going to do as far as your red mage is concerned.
Well, remember, you have a ninja too, so Temper... you could put some of those black magic spells on your ninja, especially when he gets to level 15. Yeah, you know, he's not going to have it until level 15, but, you know, now you have 3 Tempers. You have 3 Bracks if needed. You also have a Warp. But Fade is going to be 1 for sure. Temper is 2 for sure. And then you can kind of split what you want to do for the rest. Life 2, I think, was in there.
Yes, Life 2. I mean, Life 2 is a must-have, and it's learnable for your Knight 2. So you got Life 2 and Fade for your Knight. You've got Life 2 and Fade for both your Red Wizards, which I think are kind of important at this point. I don't know, man. I'm thinking Temper's the way to go, just because you can stack a bunch of Tempers on your Knight near the end of the game, and they can do massive damage to even the highest Absorb and highest Evade enemies near the end of the game. Looks like we're going to see what the Pirates are up to.
On the left, jkoper picks up the X Factor, so his ninja now has the katana.
And we've got...
and also, the Knight has the X Factor, like I said, so he's going to be swinging very powerful swords at the very early of the game. Level 2 Fade is doing work against the probably 6 health at Pirates. A little overkill.
Oh, shit. Is this game even randomized at this point?
Okay, the seed is trolling them even more, and the cube for 32 grand hanging out in the shop.
What do you do at this point? I assume you grind to get that 32, or do you just move on and head back down this way? I think it's important to just go on ahead, grind it out, get the money for this cube so you don't ever have to come back to this town again.
I think you might have to grind it out, but I just don't know how long it would take.
I mean, if you can strategically figure out your encounters and what encounters are giving you the most money, you know, those zombie bulls, they give out pretty decent gold early on. And it looks like Braxis is going to go on ahead and eat some steak. You know, some people may not like this plan. You know, some people think that the Tyros are pretty friendly. You shouldn't eat your steak. You should not eat your steak. But Braxis doesn't believe that.
Little update on the left. jkoper just left Volcano. As I said earlier, he has some good weapons. He's got the katana on his thief. He's got the Excalibur. He's making the play. He's going to go check out Gaia, or old Onrak, which is actually new Onrak. It's still the same thing. He'll find out that the item shop is not there, or it does not have the incentivized item. So his next play will probably to go to Provoca, hang out with Braxis, and he's actually got the money for the cube as long as he doesn't spend it all. If he gets there, he can buy the cube and he can move on. But he has not turned into TNT. He has not done any of that quest chain, which is TNT and a crown, into herb, into slab, and we still don't know what the slab gives yet because Braxis has not turned it into the Fanish people yet.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the battles he's getting right now, those Tyros do not give much in the way of money, but at least the Zombol and Troll battle should give him some money if those Trolls just don't start, well, trolling him. It looks like the Trolls rolled pretty low on health. Let's see what kind of money he got from that. 3,600. He's still got a long ways to go. About another 10 grand or so to get that cube. And it looks like we're going to get our first look at Waterfall as jkoper heads in there. We got some whiz mummies and regular mummies as our first encounter here.
He gets the early run out. Looks like they did a little bit of damage to his thief. So not too bad, but jkoper has less health, less levels than Braxis right now because Braxis is leveling while trying to gain money for the incentive key, or the cube.
Yeah. And I don't know exactly what stunned his particular character there. Looks like Zombles have Frost, which luckily not too much damage, but still just kind of annoying to see that come out.
Would just like to take a little bit of time here. And the voice you're hearing now, my name is Dang Wu. My commentary partner, McGregly Puff, would like to thank Speed Gaming for letting us broadcast this race and the Final Fantasy Spring Tournament that's been going on the past 4 weeks. You, the fans, also a big thanks for you guys for making this a lot of fun for us commentaries, and of course all the volunteers that help us out in the background. Alliger Brap, who's doing all the tracking for us today, and Volcanic, who has done a lot of the behind the scenes. The Wilkliosis, which you guys all know and love.
Alright. Looks like we're getting our... Ooh, we got an Adamant, so another little fetch quest going on from the robot here. So we're going to head... if jkoper has not turned in the TNT, which he has not done yet, I went ahead and route the TNT and the Adamant both in, which, you know, if you held off on doing that ended up being a good play.
Yeah, that routed very well for him by going there. Now, instead of having to go back to the dwarves, he can do them all at once.
Yeah.
Braxis has enough money for the cube now, so he's going to purchase that, and then he's going to be leaving Provoca. jkoper is going to go make his trip down. He'll be able to buy the cube instantly. He's got about 90 grand to his name.
Yeah, and at this point, this is getting really close right now, because you got to think, like, jkoper's done Waterfall. He's already got all these items that he can easily turn in. He's going to be able to buy the cube, get that ship, get that fade, decide what he's going to do as far as all the level 2 magic is concerned, and he's going to be able to get out of this area without having to try to get money to get that cube. Unfortunately, decided to take the battle before checking the magic shop, which that kind of pains me a little bit, because this pirates battle is going to take significantly longer than it needs to.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looked like the one red wizard didn't have anything. Or did I completely miss that?
No,
but
he definitely did not have anything. I guess at the time maybe he just didn't have the money to pick up ice or stop, and decided that it just wasn't worth picking up, which, you know, sometimes that can happen. You just look at those spells and go, nah.
Braxis has left Provoca. He's made his way onto his airship. As you can see, he's going to go to right here. This is Lefane. It's one of the key item turn-ins. On the left, jkoper gets his sweet ship from Ibiki the Pirate. He's going to check out the shop. He's going to find out that the cube is worth 32. And another fetch quest. On a fetch quest, he's going to go visit the crazy old lady over in the cave, Matoya.
Yep. And if he hadn't gone back up there to get his dragon armor, at least at this point now, he can re-pick it up if he didn't keep it earlier, which I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he equipped it. Yeah, so he kept those chests. It looks like we got the loot. Big find here. One of the main endgame items. And
jkoper, unfortunately, I think he's not too bad, but I have a feeling he's going to spend too much on his red wizards, and he's going to realize that the black magic level 2 is also loaded.
Yeah, and that's going to be pretty unfortunate, but I don't know, man. It's really hard to turn down Life 2 and Fade when you see him in those slots. Like you said before, luckily he's got ninjas. He can pick up Warp Brack and Temperer all 3 of those on his ninja and not have to worry about sharing slots with his red wizards. This right here is kind of one of those things where I said maybe it would have been good to bring at least a black mage along so you could just focus on black magic for one of your characters.
We got Braxis making his way to Ordeals, another incentivized location. The only tricky part about Ordeals is the warp portals, or I like to call them the trash cans, are randomized. So instead of always being bottom in the vanilla, they are now randomized. So you have to remember when there's a split, was it top or was it a bottom one? And then you kind of have to remember all the other little options that go along with it. So it could be a very long or it could be a very short Ordeals run.
Yes, and usually, having warp at level 2 is great, but unfortunately, like we said before, level 2 is so loaded, we're not even sure if he brought a warp along, which typically makes Ordeals a little bit easier, because if you go into the wrong pillar, you can just cast warp, and it will take you right back to the original pillar you went into. And this room right here is the most annoying room, the 4-pillared room. As of right now, it looks like Braxis Muse is lost, maybe?
Nope, he got it. It's the first. No, it wasn't the first one.
No, it wasn't the first one. Yeah,
it tricked us.
And then he's back at the beginning. And then he's going to warp back. So he did pick up warp. He's got progression now, so he's got to choose either top or bottom here.
jkoper on your left has left the new Provoca, which was old Lefane. He's making his way out. I would expect he's either going to go to Dwarf Cave or do Ordeals since he's in the area.
Ooh, and Braxis, I couldn't tell if he was out of warp charges or what happened there, but he's going to fight these zombies down. Zombles down, I mean, and try to get back on track. I don't know, something I've done here in Ordeals is, like, once you realize that you've kind of made some bad, like, you find out which ones are which, and one particular portal takes you back pretty far, you just kind of exit back out, and then you just go through it again based off the memories that you know. Like, you know now that one, the third pillar is progression, and that the bottom pillar is progression. You can go through it a lot quicker. But ETAP pointing out that maybe he's just trying to get experience from those zombies.
It's definitely possible. The only problem is he's using up all those fade charges instead of using warp. And jkoper's going to turn in that adamant. We get the incentive ribbon. That's good. So now our jkoper's light warrior has a fancy hair. He turns into TNT, which leads to the crown.
And we know that the crown eventually leads to the good lord, crystal loot. So the crown eventually leads to the loot. Once you do that whole chain quest of herb or crown to herb to slab to crystal to loot. We've only got a couple more incentive locations left. Right now, obviously, Braxis Muse in Ordeals. We're going to find out what's here. And then neither runner has been to Ice yet. And neither runner has found a loose item as well. And at this point, it looks like both loose items are going to be required as of right now. Because we haven't found Chime, we haven't found Rod, and we have not found Axiel. Or Key.
Yeah, we have a lot. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some loose items that they're going to have to find. So, early dives, the potential gambles people are going to have to do. Oh, there's our Axiel.
Yep. So we got Axiel here, which means a dive into C is on the play. We do know that Onrak is in the original Onrak location.
And Maverick points out, I am definitely not going to say that. Oh, whatever. Oxypads. Yay.
Yeah, Lyra is pointing out, yes, both as of right now, based on the notes that I have in front of me, it appears as if both loose items are going to be required to finish this seed out. Because right now, we are still looking for the key, we're still looking for the rod, and we're still looking for the chime, which we know one of those things is going to be in ice, and the other two of those things are going to be loose. Jkoper turning in his slab, and I guess he's going to head towards the Lefane area.
I would at this point for him. Brax is probably going to do the waterfall play now, since he knows he has to double dip here. Unfortunately, Jkoper's going to get his loot, or I'm sorry, the crystal, and then once he talks to Matoil, he'll get his loot.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the good thing about Braxis hitting up the waterfall now, he's going to go on ahead, he's going to do the waterfall, and then he's in the area, he's got the Oxiel. If he's got enough, he knows what he has, because I think he's done everything so far, except for ice. He could potentially make an early sea play, depending on whether he picked up Brack or not in that level 2 loaded slot. It looks like Braxis is heading right, or no, he's going to go on ahead and save first.
Now, as asked in chat by Elger yes, by loose it means... So in this flag set, there is almost always guaranteed 2 loose items. Now, whether or not they are required all depends on where those incentive items end up.
Okay. And Aliger Brap pointing out that Brax did pick up Brack on both Red Wizards, so he could potentially make an early sea dive, hit up either area, which at this point, with knowing that 2 loose items are required out there, he might go on ahead and hit up Mermaids first just to see what's going on down there before he heads towards Kraken, which typically you want to go towards Kraken because you want to go towards defeating the Fiend, but with 2 loose items out there, it might be a good play to head down to the ladies. I don't know, what do you think, Ding?
Sorry, I was a little preoccupied by Jkoper on the left. He picks up the fast, he picks up the nuke. Sorry, not the nuke. It's actually locked out. The only problem with fast is his Red Wizards have to get to level 20 to be able to cast them. Now on the Brax side, what he's gonna do, I would definitely use the Brax. The Brack strat. Why not? It has a good chance of landing, or a decent chance of landing on Kraken. You get the chime if it happens to be loose. You can do the Tiamat right after. Clear that up as you go on the way. Get your experience in Bracken too, if possible. And now you're at a decent amount of levels as you're clearing the other annoying stuff like Ice Cave, Earth Cave, and that kind of stuff.
Pointing out that he check ice. I'm all for the always check your incentives first, but at this point Braxis Muse knows that the loose items as of right now are going to be required. So he has to go into C, in my opinion, because he's in the area. The only thing he does not know is what the robot will give him, which is going to be the adamant, which we already know leads to the ribbon. So that's not really required.
Yeah, the longer the key item or the key itself keeps hidden, the longer or the less chests that they have to check for other things. I guess if that makes sense.
Yeah, but unfortunately, as of right now, I mean, we've still got Earth 1 that's available. We have Oxiel. We have all of C. We have all of Volcano that they need to check, and of course, Ice, which at the same time, Ice does have an incentive item. It could potentially hold a loose item as well.
Jkoper on the left, he's going to go into Volcano. He's going to make that dive. There's a bunch of chests on his way to carry. If he's going to light that orb, he's got the weapons. He's got the katana on the ninja. He's got the Excalibur, a.k.a. The X Factor. It's a very good weapon. It basically, all enemies except for Chaos has a weakness. Excalibur takes advantage of that weakness and gets a damage bonus. So it's a very good weapon at early levels. And for most of the game, actually, because of the fact that most enemies has a weakness.
Yeah, I always kind of channel the person that got me into this game, Lord Fizzlebeef, always says, try not to go into a dungeon unless you have a plan for defeating Carrie or defeating, whoever the dungeon keeper is, that particular fiend. And right now at level 10 and the magic that I'm seeing on jkoper, I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I mean, I know he has katana, I know he has excal, and Carrie, is the second fiend, so he might be okay in here.
He does, but he also has the defense sword, so he can just... He's got a second katana, which he can sell now, but he can defense up his knight, his knight, set him in the 4th slot, just the defense up, and hope that Carrie does not cast anything dangerous.
Yes, absolutely. Got an ice sword, which is kind of obsolete at this point. Maybe he could put on one of his red wizards. Looks like Braxis out of Waterfall with his adamant. Let's see what he decides to do, if he's going to go on ahead and just turn the adamant and get his ribbon, and then head over towards Ice Cave and maybe get that incentive item, or if he's going to head into sea and look for some loose items since he's in the area. All right, we're getting our first look at an Agama. Looking for Agama facts out there. Somebody was asking about Agama grinds.
A decent amount of health. jkoper actually picked up an ice armor, which is really good for the ninja. They can finally equip decent armor, so that ninja is now tankier.
And I like Thalfon's Agama fact. They are in fact fiction. It is true.
That's a pretty good fact. They are indeed fiction.
Yep.
Alright, jkoper on the left. He's got 3 more chests to check. He's got 2 of them that are hidden behind the Agamas, or trap tiles. And then he's got 1 more that he has to go through Agama and a red dragon trap tile.
Yeah.
I mean, in this case, if I was jkoper, I would take both of them. They only had 330. They didn't really show me much. A gaze isn't going to really do a whole lot with 3 light warriors all attacking you at the same time. Braxis on your right is back in Onrak. He might do the water play.
Yep, it looks like he's heading towards that water play that I mentioned earlier, which in my opinion, in his particular situation, I think it's a good call. Right here, jkoper, I don't mind the idea of at least taking a few Agama. I mean, you're getting 945 for each one. You're pretty low level at like level 11, and you don't, like you said, you've got the defense sword, you've got some decent hitting, but if Carrie rolls high absorb or high HP or has some nasty spells, it could make this battle pretty ugly.
Another Agama fact from Lyra. Agamas like it when you kill the weak ones to save them the trouble of finding food. We are just trying to help out them, keep the population low, to keep them fat and happy.
Yeah, it looks like Braxis is going to go on ahead and just start heading towards Kraken, which, again, like I said, I think it's, it's one way or the other. With 2 loose items, checking mermaids is not a bad plan, but always go towards the fiend too, so we'll see if this ends up working out for him. Looks like we got some money in that first one. Naga's coming out. Just ambush and hitting him with a rub. That's always unfortunate, but luckily he's got a life 2 on his knight there, and we got a white shirt.
Now the white shirt is interesting. It's actually a really good item. As it's pointing out in chat, unfortunately that Naga had something against me and decided to just instantly kill me. The white shirt allows you to cast Invis 2. Invis 2 gives you evade. It's not as good as Ruse. I believe it's, 8 points of evade? Or is it 12?
Which one?
Invis 2.
Invis 2, it's 40% evade per person. So it usually takes about 6 castings of Invis 2 to completely negate any sort of attacks on your character to get you to basically to max evade. Sorry, I was too busy staring at Braxis Muse's gear. His gear is not looking very good. It looks like he's got a copper bracelet on his thief and still chain armor on his people, whereas jkoper has gotten all that good gear from all his checks earlier.
Yeah, jkoper remembered that armory, or the armory in the volcano was loaded with night gear. It even had ninja gear, so his front line is very good right now.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of good gear. He's got a lot of good weapons. I think he's set to take on Carrie outside of Carrie having Thunder, Blizzard, a magic roll or something else.
Yeah, it looks like he just let his ninja die. I'm not sure if he's just going to go on ahead and 3-man it from this point on, if that was intentional, not healing up his ninja and getting him out of poison status or what. And it looks like he's going to go on ahead and take this red dragon now.
While these two are battling some rough opponents, another Agma fact by Cyclone. Agmas are delicious fried with rice, but are highly recommended for use in a salad.
Well, I mean, salads are always a good way to get good nutrition, vegetables, and of course protein as well. So it's not a bad fact. I like it. And Maverick Kanissa, I like it. Chocolate-covered agamas are pretty spicy, which that is a very true statement.
Oh no. Braxis accidentally dropped his opal bracelet. He accidentally dropped it, and he's going to reset out because he dropped it.
I do not blame that. Oh my god, that is unfortunate, but at least he has all the information he has here. He can just head right back to that room where he found that opal bracelet.
That, as it was pointed out in chat by a couple people, that is unfortunate. And jkoper is going to take the red dragon fight. It's actually more experience than the Agamas, but they tend to be a little harder to kill compared to the Agamas in general because of generally they have higher evade, they hit harder. But in this case, looks like this red dragon is actually very low health.
Yeah, and it looks like he's living dangerously right now because he is not healing his people up, and then I don't know if he forgot that Agama tile was there or if he just thinks he's okay. But luckily, that Agama went and hit his knight, and he's able to get out of this battle pretty well. He's at level 18, which, I mean, those are some good levels. He should not have any issues against Carrie. But I'd like to see him heal up here pretty soon.
So, the important part of the level 18 is the Excalibur actually gets its 4th hit. So that's a pretty good marker to hit with the Excalibur this early. He's going to be able to swing really hard. Now, I don't like the fact that he was under triple digits with all his characters and he was still running around. You run into a fire giant and he's going to wreck your world.
I mean, that Agama could have easily killed one of his characters if it didn't attack that knight, which he has his knight in his second slot, which kind of messes up the way that enemies attack you. Because if your person in the first slot is going to get hit 50% of the time, right? The person in the second slot gets hit about 25% of the time, and then that other 25% gets divided up between the people in your third and fourth slot. So actually having a dead person in your first slot makes everything kind of wonky, because that 50% of the time has to get divided up kind of a weird way.
And as Thundercloud points out, yes, he did have the... and Braxis manages to find the opal bracelet that he dropped earlier, so that's good. Lost and found. But Thundercloud points out he does have life too. The problem is, you're risking a lot with one ribbon, and you're under triple digits.
All right, let's go on ahead and talk about this carry battle that's happening on jkoper's side. So he's going to go on ahead. We got an attack. We got a fade. He's going to throw a couple of fades out there. He's going to attack with his It's and Now. Carry has 8 hits, but looks like it only did about 81 damage, where that fade rolled really low. Looks like that katana and that defense, man, I was wrong thinking that this was a bad call. He went on ahead and put Carry down real quickly, and looks like he's got his first orb lit at right about the hour 13 mark.
Yep, it pay F for respects for Carry. He gave it his all with his 8 hits, and well, he didn't accomplish much. Rip.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely to go on ahead and pick up those extra levels, doing those Agamas. But I think he, again, like we've talked about before, I think he could have picked up those extra levels doing something a little different, like maybe hitting up ice and then just kind of plowing through and not having to worry about doing the grind. But it all ended up working out okay, and luckily he was able to get through carry and get his first orblet. Now we're going to see what Ice Cave is all about. jkoper being our first runner to head into Ice Cave.
It's weird to say that, considering it's an hour and 13 minutes in, and neither of them have gone to this incentivized location. jkoper did the gamble, went to Volcano. There was no loose items there, which we know are required, but he found a lot of gear for all of his characters. Braxis went to Sea Shrine. He's only got an opal armor. Unfortunately, he kind of dropped it. He lost it, and so he had to reset, and he found it again. He will be taking on Carry here shortly. He does have 2 Brax on his Red Wizards, so he's going to try the Brax strats, which is an instant kill. It has a decent chance against Kraken, so he's going to hope.
And he got a flame armor, so jkoper with the ice armor, Braxis finding the flame armor here in C, and jkoper making sure he's got his warp charge, so he's going to go on ahead and do the warp trick here to see what's in this incentive location, which we know is required. Looks like we got the bottle. The bottle is definitely going to lead to something important, whether it be the key, the rod, or the chime.
So Braxis is in Sharknado room. He's going to check out the last, I believe there's 8 or 9 chests in here.
Yeah, I think he's only got the 4 left. He's got these last 4. He's got an opal helm.
Oh, he had already gone all the way around? Okay,
yeah, it looks like yeah. That's what he found, the opal bracelet, and I think the original either power gauntlet. Oh, we got a Thor's hammer on jkoper's side, and the original power gauntlet chest in that particular room, bottom left of Sharknado.
On the left, jkoper is trying to dual wield the katanas on his thief. Unfortunately, not allowed in this game. I'm sorry, jkoper. It was a nice try.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not Final Fantasy V, where you can dual wield with your ninjas, which I think is something we need to fix in this game. I mean, if you can dual wield some katanas in this, it might make your ninja actually useful.
So Braxis finds out that there was nothing in that little trap tile hidden chest. jkoper checking out these 6 here. Looks like some gold. More gold. How exciting. Ooh, a tent.
And then he gets ambushed by these frost wolves, which is going to be more of an annoyance than anything, because it doesn't look like they're doing much. And, man, Braxis is just blowing through his charges of magic on these unrunnable Wiz Sahags and Red Sahags.
The downside of them being unrunnable. jkoper actually, I think, he didn't check that chest. He forgot.
Did he not check that chest? I must have missed it.
Yeah, he bypassed that chest. Hopefully that chest does not have what he needs, because if that is an incentivized a key item, that is going to be one hard chest to remember that you bypassed.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking if it ends up being something important like that. There is definitely one run in particular that I did where after grinding on the eye for what seemed like an eternity, I totally forgot to check the incentive chest there. And we've got our loose key in ice. It was here the whole time.
Okay, so that's good. The key find early just means that now we have a lot of other chests to check now. You have the Corneria locked, you got Marsh locked, you have Northwest Castle where Astos was, you've got Elfland Castle's got that, and the dwarves all have chests.
But at least they are free chests to check, you know what I mean? Like heading down to the Dwarf Cave, going over to Astos, going to Canary, going to Elfland. I mean, it only takes like a few minutes to hit those up, and there are so many chests. The potential of there being a loose item in those chests is relatively high, so I would definitely recommend doing that, right now. Looks like we're going to see what the fairy has. And she's got the rod, which opens up Earth.
And on the right, Brax is going to take on Kraken. Sorry, the rod. Yep, you're right. It does open up the Earth Cave, allows you to access to Lich and more chests.
Yeah, so it looks like he's going to go on ahead and listen to us and do these Brax strats. So he's going to throw a defense up on his ninja, or not ninja, I'm sorry, his fighter, which he put in the third slot. Kraken went on ahead and just kind of like wet noodled his red mage a little bit. Not much firepower behind that. Got white shirt strats, Brax strats. He's playing this very defensively, which I like.
Playing very defensively. As you said, he swings with his little knight, 2 hits, 2 damage. He didn't get the Excalibur. More white shirts. Kraken's basically hitting even more with a wet noodle. Brack comes active.
Yeah, unfortunately, this Brack is not doing anything. He, this looks like it's just going to be a battle of. Hopefully, Kraken just attacks and doesn't throw out any nasty spells because he's down to his last Brack attempts. And he just got RNG'd hard right there. It does not look like any of his Bracks hit, which is unfortunate because that is some pretty low odds for all 7 of those Bracks not hitting.
It is, but unfortunately at the same time, he could have just casted Fade since it was level 2, and he probably could have killed Kraken all at the same time. Now, unfortunately, he has to go through and basically punch Kraken.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at this point, get those white shirts up there, get those defenses up there, and just start wailing on them and see what happens. And on our left, it looks like jkoper going on ahead and just picking up more gear to go on ahead and move on with his game. Let's see if he decides to check any of those key lock treasure chests.
He's still trying to wail away. On your right, he's level 1 icing Kraken. He's attacking with his knight for 2 damage. The ninja misses. Kraken is still hitting that ninja, so he might not have enough not enough Invis 2 out to keep Kraken missing.
And it looks like right now jkoper's heading over to Ordeals, which I did not realize he had not done yet. So he's going on ahead. He's gonna hit up Ordeals and get his Oxiel. Or at least what we know is the Oxiel. But right now, Braxis, unfortunately, in a bad spot. What is his knight wielding right now? Is it a light axe? Is that what I'm seeing?
It is the light axe. He is using the light axe, and unfortunately, he did not go to the Volcano Armory where he had seen the Excalibur, or this fight probably would be a lot different.
Yeah, he would have Katana too. Also found not in the armory, but on one of the chests north of the armory. Yes, chat pointing out at this point, Chime is obviously the other loose item. We already know it has to be, and it's either loose in Mermaid's area of sea, it's loose in Earth, or it's loose in Earth. Because we already know that the key was loose in Ice Cave, and that Volcano was full cleared with no loose items.
I just realized he did not equip the defense sword. He's using a light axe, and he might have forgotten that the defense sword is actually a very viable weapon.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's throwing out mage staffs, because at this point it looks like the mage staff is doing more damage than his light axe, and unfortunately I guess the light axe has no crit at all, so it's just he's just doing 2-2. And he's just getting more damage out of that Fire 2 spell than anything, and that's unfortunate. But at this point, it doesn't look like Kraken's really doing anything. So, this battle will eventually end. Something will happen.
One way or another, someone is going down. Well, either it's going to be Kraken or it's going to be all the Light Warriors, and he's going to have to reset out.
Yeah, and unfortunately, his ninja did wipe, which means you can't throw any more white shirts out there. Oh, and Blaze comes out, and that is nasty. That is not what we wanted to see right now. Kraken was just hiding that Blaze.
Just a troll Braxis. He decides to throw out the blaze after 20 rounds.
And there goes poison, and we've just lost his other red mage, and now we're just down to the one, and we're just gonna hope. He's just got to hold A and hope, and now he's starting to throw all the spells out there. We got thunder, poison, blaze, and
This Kraken came to fight. To be completely honest, he may not have hit hard, but blaze, thunder, and poison damage. Those are all high-hitting damage spells.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he didn't do the adamant turn in to get that ribbon, so those poisons, blaze, thunders, they are coming out at full damage, and he finally takes a wipe after what seemed like at least a 5-minute battle. And, man, that RNG was not helpful as far as getting those Brax off. That's unfortunate. I feel for Braxis. At this point, do you go back after Kraken, or do you head down to Mermaids and see if you can find the loose item down there, since you know what's on the top end?
Well, first of all, I would equip the defense sword. That is the first thing that you have to equip right now, because that is a much better weapon than the light axe ever will be.
Yeah.
But on the left-hand side, jkoper did pick up his Ordeals incentivized item, which was Oxiel, which is needed to complete the game. So he can now go to where Braxis is, which is the Sea Shrine. But in this case, I would definitely... You know what? I would probably do Mermaids at this point. Maybe get a weapon, because he's already forgotten that he has the defense sword. So I would go Mermaids, hope for something that reminds me that I can equip a weapon that's better than the light axe, and then try and take on Kraken.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I mean, especially with Exit Spell, you already know what's on the north end. You already know what's on the way to Kraken. You still haven't found a loose item yet. You're in the area. You just run down to Mermaids real quick, check it out, exit out, grab that opal bracelet on your way to Kraken, and then try to kill Kraken again. Hopefully, the second time around, you don't get bad RNG, and those 7 Brack charges one of them will hit and actually stick. Because, like you said earlier, she can get hit by that Brack charge, and it should not. He should have been able to get the kill on Kraken, having that many charges of Brack.
You should, but it's one of those things. You're still praying to, the lottery of sorts. Please hope that it lands, that it's going to succeed, instead of casting the temper charges on the knight. All those temper charges, he probably could have killed Kraken. But that's hindsight now that we look at it.
Yeah.
Or he could have casted the fade charges. He didn't.
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah, and I forgot about the white shirt too. So go on ahead, pick up that white shirt, pick up that opal bracelet, get the things that you know you need heading back towards Kraken. But I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, hopefully he'll be able to kill Kraken, but he's still not any closer to finding those 2 loose key items on his part. Whereas jkoper right now is going on ahead and checking all these free chests that he can check out right now. Looks like the dwarves are holding what everyone else in this game seemed to hold, which is a ton of money. We've got a pro cape and the power bonk. jkoper just stacking up on that gear. Big difference between the gear that jkoper has and what Braxis Muse has right now.
Yeah, the power bonk is big. It allows you to cast a saber on yourself. So with it being on the knight, they get the increased damage, and they also get increased hit rating, which allows them to hit targets a little bit easier sometimes. And it also gives them the absorb. It's a very good knight, or anybody that's going to attack. Armor.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Temper gives you an extra 14 points of damage per casting, whereas Saber or the power monk will give you an extra 16. So, but it does take up a turn. But it's nice. It's definitely nice to have. And then we've got the black shirt, which is a great find. Casts Ice 2 in battle, and is also black wizard armor. It's the best armor they can hold besides the opal bracelet. Unfortunately, again, neither of these players have a black wizard, so they won't be able to equip it, but at least they'll have some free Ice 2 charges here. Jkoper getting out of this area, heading back over towards C. It looks like he's going to make a sea dive, but I don't think he checked. I don't think he checked the Elfland Armory. Did you see if he did that?
Yes, he did actually.
Okay.
I remember seeing it, but I don't remember him getting anything good in there. And it looks like Jkoper is going to join Brax down in the Sea Shrine.
Yeah, and I was just saying, Ali Jabrap pointing out that he did a while ago. So, helping us out. We need Ali Jabrap here to help us track this race. Awesome tracker. It's glad to have him.
And to kind of go into that once again, my name is Dang Wu. My broadcast partner that was just talking, that is Gregory Puff. You are watching the 2019 Spring Final Fantasy Tournament. This is round 4 of the Swiss rounds. These two competitors are 1 and 2. They are battling for that a play-in race if they get 2 wins. So this is a very almost a do or die matchup.
Yeah, while Jkoper's checking out or heading towards Mermaid, which he's already found the one loose item. It's not the play I would make, but we also know that neither people have gone towards this area, so it could end up being the play he needs to make. While they're going on ahead and do this, we're going to talk about the Swiss tournaments here for a sec, in case the audience out here wants to know what exactly is going on. The Swiss tournaments goes on for 5 weeks. Each player gets paired up against players that have the exact same record as them. So right now, both of these players have a 1 and 2 record. If at the end of it all you have a 5 and 0 record, you are in the top 8. You are in the top 8. You get a bye past the top 16. If you're 4 and 1, you're in the top 16. If you're 3 and 2, you get involved in the play-in race that Dangwu spoke of earlier, which fills out the rest of the top 16. And if you're 2 and 3, you get one more chance. All the 2 and 3s will get into one race, one last final ditch race to get into that last play-in race. And it looks like we found a loose ribbon down in Mermaids. Unfortunately, if you are 1 and 4 or 0 and 5, you get to hang out with the confused old men in Crescent Lake.
So they get to just kind of walk around with them and just say, let's hand out a key item to our light warriors that come to hang out with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's pretty much how it goes. And then after this 5 weeks happens, then obviously we'll have our top 16, and then it will just be a single elimination tournament to crown our winner for the spring Final Fantasy Randomizer tournament. As C Note 58 says, if you're 1 and 4 or 0 and 5, you get promoted to chat.
And while we were talking about that, on the right-hand side, Braxis, if you were all paying attention, you've seen that giant squid get taken out by Fade Strats. He decided to ditch the Brax Strats, the instant KO that has a chance to work, and killed the Kraken. So now he has the water orb lit. The orb count is 1 and 1, but Jkoper has a lot better equipment. You will probably see him temper up his knight and attack with that Excalibur, killing the Kraken in probably a couple rounds.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Braxis getting out of dodge. We know that it's not required to go down there to get that key item, but there was a ribbon down there, so. It's an interesting play on his part. Let's see what he decides to do if he decides to finally turn in that adamant to get his first ribbon, and then head over to ice finally to get his loose item and to get his bottle.
Yeah, Braxis has not gone to Ice Cave yet. He does not know what's there. He hasn't obviously gotten the loose item, which is the key, which is something we need to complete the game.
Yeah, so as of right now, what we do know for sure, based on everything, is the loose item is either going to be in Locked Marsh, it's going to be in Earth, or it's going to be in Locked Topher, because I don't think either runner, or I don't think jkoper checked out Locked Topher.
And we have that one chest in ice that jkoper skipped. That was at the Frost Wolf tile, or the trap tile.
That is very true. I did forget that. So at least that's what we know as commentators. We know where that is. Neither of these runners know. jkoper has a little bit more knowledge right now. He did full clear fire. He is out of Volcano. He doesn't have to worry about that, and he has already done ice. And right now he's doing sea, and he's already done mermaid. So he's about to find out real quick that last loose item is either in Earth or in those few chests that he did not check yet. Whereas Braxis looks like he's not really. I'm not sure where he's heading.
I think he got himself a little lost there because he was out in the middle of the ocean there, and he couldn't find his bearings.
Yeah, it looks like he's heading back to Melmond. I guess to pick up the Hill 3, maybe. I think it's locked. I think both of that's locked. Maybe to get this Fire 3 that's here that he can pick up. Yeah.
I think they only learn the first slot in level 5.
Yeah, and then of course the ninjas can't learn any level 5 magic, which I think he was just putting in wrong commands there.
So Braxis is hanging out in Melmond, checking out the shop, checking out the recently ravaged town of Melmond. On the left, jkoper is going where Braxis has kind of had to do multiple dives. So he's going to go and light his second orb here shortly. We don't expect him to have much trouble against Kraken after we've seen Braxis do it with a lot less gear.
Yeah, I think jkoper is definitely in a better position to take this, like you said, with gear. I think he has better levels at this point as well, because he did do fire and he's also done ice as well.
And Brax has finally equipped the defense sword, so that's a big buff to his knight, who will actually be able to kill things a lot more reliably. jkoper's looks like up against some lobster and sea snakes on the left, unrunnable, basically just there to waste your time.
Yeah, it looks like Braxis Muse is finally going to go on ahead and head into Volcano, and then just kind of kick himself for not checking this area, which I don't blame him. Me personally, I'm in the Lord Fizzlebeef group where I don't like to go into places unless I plan on finishing them out and clearing them. So, going in here now, I would have probably done too, but I would definitely be kicking myself to find Excal and find it and a katana in here as well.
Well, the thing of it is he was actually in here. He had a wipe and he noped out.
Oh, that's right. He sure did. I am totally... Wow. And having that knowledge on top of it, that's unfortunate.
It happens. There's a lot of stuff going on. jkoper's going to be happy. He's going to find that opal bracelet, which he just did. Makes one of his mages very tanky. Especially with that life 2, makes them a little more reliable, a little more survivable if some nasty fiend decides that they want to attack them.
Yeah. Yeah, knowing that Excal is down there, I mean, right after class change, you gotta head there, especially since we have not seen the Massa yet. We're still not sure where Massa is. I assume it's also hanging out in Earth Cave with our loose item.
Earth Cave definitely seems to be the play as of recently. I know all of last week, Earth seemed to carry a lot of the key items, the loose key items, and also the good items. I've seen ribbons, I've seen Massa hanging out there. Earth seems to be holding a lot of the good stuff.
Yeah, and C-Note pointing out that Massive Immune is probably in that chest that jkoper noped out of. Forgot to check after he took out those Frost Wolves earlier in Ice.
I would take that over the key item. If it was, the loose chime, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's no way I would remember that I happened to bypass that Frost Wolf, the trap tile chest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the good thing about Braxis right now is he's got the levels. He doesn't have to do any grinds in here. He should be able to just plow through this area. He'll check all the chests to make sure that there's no loose items, but after that, he'll go straight to carry. And based on the carry battle that we saw from jkoper, he shouldn't have much of an issue there.
Not anymore. Now that he's actually got a better weapon, and now he's got armor and stuff like that, he's a lot better. He kind of terrified me there for a little bit. He acted like he was going to go and bypass the armory, and then I probably would have been a little more worried, but, he was like, oh wait, I think the armory had something good, and he backpedaled, and he found all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he's just... chat wondering if he's healing up for Agama Grind. I'm assuming he's just healing up in general because, those lava trap tiles or lava damage tiles can do a number on your party, and you definitely don't want to run into something like a red giant or something that hits kind of hard in this area and take a wipe because you didn't heal before moving on.
So jkoper is making his way to Kraken. We know that Kraken has Blaze, Thunder, and Damage Poison. All very powerful spells. Even with a ribbon can do a lot of damage. But on the people that don't have a ribbon, it can be very, very deadly. So we could see potentially the loss of 3 of his light warriors if all 3 of them come out, if he doesn't kill them quick enough. At the same time, Kraken could die really quickly because he has 3 tempers and an Excalibur that does a lot of damage.
Oh, he does have 1 ink in there, which ETAP points out. And, we haven't seen Lamp yet, so if the ink does land, it could get kind of dicey for his fighter if he can't cure that darkness status.
I mean, the minus 40 to your hit really not going to hurt you that much. I mean, you better hope you have the lamp spell.
Are you saying something about my lamp strats here? I mean, is there something you got to say?
I would rather just cast something else over lamp at this point.
Yeah, and Dark Chosen pointing out the obvious that Ribbon does negate that, but you never know. You could get 3 and 256th, and yada yada, as Ali Jerbrap says.
So Kraken strikes, doesn't do much, 72. His Knight power bonks, there's a temper, another temper. That Knight is going to attack and is going to hit very hard. The Excalibur gets a damage bonus because all enemies have a weakness. The Fade comes out 220, great roll. Ninja 65, that's a weak hit. 2 hits, 149.
That was with a bonk and 3 tempers. That was not the kind of hit he probably wanted to see.
It's a highly evade Kraken. It's not unkillable. He still has Bane in that 4th slot. I would be casting Bane at this point. Kraken doesn't do a lot of damage. Might as well just cast it. If Excalibur gets a lucky crit, you'll see big numbers from it. I might as well just cast Bane at this point. Try and poison smoke him.
Yeah, and that second hit, after all those bonks, after all those tempers, that second hit, he completely whiffed it. And that has got to put jkoper in a weird spot where he's like, what do I do at this point? I've thrown all my tempers out there. Do I keep power bonking? Do I just hope for some crits? and another miss. So now he's throwing out some Thor's hammers. He's going to go on ahead and heal up his party. And like Chad is saying, let's go on ahead and throw some Bane strats out there, like you said.
He thinks about... He's going to attack with one of his red wizards. Black shirt on the other one. Blaze comes out. 45, 65 low rolls. Didn't do a whole lot. Thor from his ninja 65. Excalibur comes out 72. If he can get at least a crit off of his Excalibur, you're going to see big numbers. He's still going on the defensive side, healing instead of casting the Bane.
And not to interrupt you, but it looks like Braxis Muse is going to go on ahead and take on Carry right now. So we've got double Fiend battles going on our screens. jkoper to your left, taking on Kraken, gets that crit, takes down Kraken with a 300 hit. And it looks like he's going to go on ahead and light up his second orb, whereas Braxis Muse is taking on Carry. More than likely, based on the way jkoper took her down, he's going to go on ahead and light up his second orb as well. Wow, that was nice to see. So both players right now got 2 orbs lit, and Praxis unfortunately still has to do ice. He still needs to make ice happen, whereas jkoper knows for sure that loose item has to be in either Earth or one of those random chests he hasn't checked yet.
Yeah, and as you've seen, once the Excalibur hit and got a crit, he hit for 335 damage as pointed out. That's great. Does the late X have better accuracy? No. It just happened to work out that he was hitting. But it was... So, you're almost... No matter what your weapon, as long as that weapon hits, it always does at least a damage. 1 damage point.
Yep.
It just happened to be that jkoper happened to get unlucky, and he missed.
Yep. And Weasel pointing out, Weasel79 pointing out, yes, jkoper did forget one chest in ice. It was guarded by those frost wolves. He took the frost wolf battle, he got out of it, and then he somehow managed to forget that chest and then just completely noped out of there. At this point, I really don't see Braxis not checking all the chests in here. He still needs 2 loose items. I see him full clearing ice at this point. What do you think, Dang?
I think he will. At the same time, he may think he's behind because of the dropping of the opal, rediving, wiping the Kraken, having to redive again to kill Kraken, and on top of that, the Kraken fight took forever because he wasn't equipped for it. He had the wrong weapon equipped on it. And, he tried the Brax strats and it didn't work.
Yeah. So
he might just nope out and try and gamble that it's an Earth. But there's 2 loose items, so I don't think he will.
No, I don't think so either. I think, yeah. I mean, we found our second pro ring. That's saving our runners another 20k. And an ice shield, which he can throw on his ninja. So pretty good finds there in that southwest chest in Earth 1. Ooh, he tense up, but he doesn't use a house, so he lost the charge he just used.
It's not too bad. He's level 21, 22 with his characters. He's already got enough charges of the exit and stuff like that at this point.
Yes. Very true. But
so Brax is checking out that Frost Dragon chests. I don't remember anything being there. In the bottom left corner. Oh, there's the Game Changer.
We got a Game Changer in the vanilla Coral Sword chest. I like it.
And we kind of missed out with all the action that was going on. Czar has shown up in chat. Welcome, Czar.
Yeah, Czar's got to be very happy to see that Vorpal, because he is definitely part of Team Vorpal, along with our friends Wilkliosis and Falconic and Moist Mogwai. jkoper making the curious play not to check the bottom room of Earth 2 that's guarded by that Earth.
He might have forgotten about it. It's kind of easy to forget about it. It is kind of like out of the way of sorts. So I kind of understand forgetting it if you've never really looked at a map, because you don't actually see it unless you remember it's there.
Yeah, he's thinking about it right now. It looks like there wasn't much in that chest, by the way. Braxis did check it. It looked like it had money in it. jkoper's just sitting there. I'm not sure if he's thinking, if he forgot a room, or what's going on. Maybe he's checking his notes to see what's going on, what he's missing.
And apparently in chat, Tolkien was given the herb from Astos, and well, he doesn't know what's going on. So, welcome to Final Fantasy. I hope you enjoy it. We will try our best to explain what is going on. jkoper apparently is having input command problems. I'm not entirely sure.
No, I'm thinking at the 1 hour and 48-minute mark, maybe bio break is going on here. I'm not really sure. And it looks like Braxis finally got his key, so now he's got his first loose item.
When nature calls, and unfortunately for jkoper, he just found the Vorpal, and well, he had to take a bathroom break or something.
Yeah, well, Braxis is looking good right now. I doubt he's going to go back to mermaids or back to sea to check out the mermaids floor. So, and he's done ice, he's done volcano. So I'm assuming after he checks all these key lock, he's going to head towards Earth as well. So he's not going to be too far behind jkoper at this point.
For all you fans out there, I just kind of put it out there for you. Our hardworking racers at the moment, if you give them follows, kind of check them out whenever they go live, it'd be very much appreciative. These guys have been hardworking, practicing and stuff like that to put on a good show for you all.
Yes. Yes, please. As Dengwu said, please make sure you follow these runners. They're great people. Braxis Muse I've known for a while. We kind of joined us, me, Dengwu, and Braxis Muse all kind of joined the community around the same time. And, good runner. Runs a lot of different things besides Final Fantasy Randomizer. Same thing with jkoper. Runs a lot of different stuff going on. So please, it only takes one click. Just give him a follow. And Dengwu.
Yep.
I was just saying, and Dengwu throwing out commentary. Going ahead and give Dengwu a follow. He's got dang strats for days. If there is a runner you should follow Dengwu. He has great commentary during his races, during his runs. He's always got the fun dang strats that he throws out there. Always quaking whatever he can quake, and give him a follow. He's a good guy. And Zardia throwing out some. Giving us some bits there. Yeah, the bits.
We always appreciate that, Zar. He always comes in and just, it comes in like a wrecking ball, handing out those bits and those Vorpals to everybody. And I have to admit, Gregory, since we haven't found our loose item in Ice Cave yet, jkoper did miss in Earth Cave 2. He missed an entire room, so Braxis has a chance to catch up in that if he checks it.
Yes, he does. This is really scaring me a little bit because there's only 8 more chests left in this area, and if those 3 chests that he missed had that loose item, he's going to be in a world of hurt, and he's not going to necessarily know.
Well, you still have Marsh locked, and you have Topher.
That is very true.
Temple of Fiend's key. Oh, and I forgot we have Rod, so we still have these 2.
Well, that's what I was saying. These last 8 chests here. There's 5 in this room, and then there's 3 more in the other room. So we got a pure. We've got some gold. So we got 6 more chests to check. Short sword, a heal helm. More gold, so only 3 more chests left.
So Braxis, we are looking for the chime as Sarah's asked. Yep, we're looking for the chime. It is loose. Now Braxis has 1 room that jkoper did not check. He bypassed it. I think it was a gamble on his part.
And oh gosh, I thought Braxis was doing the same thing, but he's going to go on ahead and find his Vorpal, which is going to be a good find for him for sure. Yes, as C Note points out, there is still key-locked Temple of Fiends and key-locked Marsh, which we have pointed out. And let's be perfectly honest for a sec. No one wants to check key-locked Marsh.
So,
not at this point.
Yeah, definitely not. And the funny part is, in a couple of my seats, that's exactly where it's been.
Yep.
Ooh, the Masa.
There we go.
Okay.
You know, a lot of yeah. We're gonna say Masa's a good find. It's what you want to see.
I mean, at this point, we kind of knew it was going to be found, since they've kind of had to check all of these chests. One more for jkoper. There it is.
And there it is. We found it. Oh, whew. I was, yeah. It was getting to me over here. I was like, oh man, not in that room he missed. So we've got our loose chime. Looks like jkoper is in fact in go mode. So he's gonna go on ahead. He's gonna take out this old person that lives in the basement of Earth, and then he's gonna probably make his way over to Sky and just fly through it, I would assume.
Yeah, he might check the free ones just because he might look for the third ribbon. But this is Lich, generally a minor speed bump. Braxis is being held up by the bats. Fade goes off. The ninja hits for 286, showing his worth. The knight comes in 314. See you later, Lich. You put up a fight.
Yeah, and we were so busy talking about loose items and Braxis Muse was doing. I think there was another mini boss in Earth that we just completely forgot about. Did you notice that mini boss at all? Did you see it?
There was? Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure there's like a mini boss. There's like you talk to an NPC and then something happens and then you just move on. But I don't exactly know what happens once you talk to that NPC.
Are you sure you weren't looking in a mirror and there was nobody there?
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I'm thinking he must be... Have you ever seen The Lost Boys? I'm thinking he's that first vampire that's played by the guy that plays Bill in the Bill and Ted's film. He just kind of is in the film and then that's it. Yeah, I'm thinking that's what must have happened there. He's just gone. Something... It was really weird.
For the people wondering, since we're just going to keep going with this because that's what Big Wrigley and I do, it was the vampire. In the vanilla thing, that chest that he actually hides is the ruby, and then you go and you talk to Sarda, and then you get the rod. So basically, in this case, because he wasn't guarding anything, he was useless, and he just kind of sat there as a little speed bump and says, "Hi, I'm important," but not really.
Yeah. As Ali Jabrat points out, I mean, you got two ribbons, you got Masa, Bonk, Defense, you gotta go. And, I mean, there aren't very many. There's a couple of free chests you could potentially check on the way, but I really don't see... And if I was in jkoper's position, I would not be checking chests at all. Because at this point, like you said, third ribbon, maybe an Aegis Shield, but I think he's pretty geared up. Plus, he's got all the levels. He can gain any more extra levels off of unrunnables if he needs to. Actually, he doesn't even really need to be taking battles.
Probably not. I don't know what his levels is at. The fifth... Oh, no, he's got Masa. So as long as he's got 24, that gets us the fifth hit for the Masa. Braxis, we know that there's nothing here in this chest. But in the bottom left one, Masa... The basically the top weapon in the game, generally, as long as enemy absorb is not too high, is the best weapon in the game.
Yeah.
And it also hides the important chime, which allows you into the mirage, which allows you into the floating castle, where jkoper has just arrived. Actually, he's already flown through. I looked away for a split second, and he's already in the maze.
Yeah, I mean, he like I said, he's not checking chests. He is just going.
I'd like to welcome Magius into the chat. Welcome, Lord of the Synth. I've seen you earlier. I'm sorry I didn't get to you. Everybody else that has been constantly doing a little bit of puns and hanging out and giving their commentary, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, Meiji is pointing out something that it's just kind of slipped my mind. Keanu Reeves was, in fact, Ted in the Bill and Ted films, which is, that's something. That is definitely information that is out there.
And Braxis was in such a hurry, bypasses the Masa, finds the chime. Let's see, does he remember that Masa was in that one? Okay.
Yes, he does. Okay. He did check that one. We got warm. Looks like jkoper got a little lost, maybe? It looked like he went over 3 instead of 2, but I could be wrong. And these man cats are just being annoying. They're just throwing out sleep, just wasting his precious time. And at this point, he's got to feel behind. He's almost at the 2-hour mark. He's just got to be like, go, 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 go.
I guess I would feel behind at it. Not as far as behind as Brax would feel after those 3 dives into sea, plus the long battle against
All right, let's go on ahead and get our prayers out there. Are we going to see him? The big robot chicken himself. The big kahuna. Is Warmek going to show up? Is he going to grace us with his presence? What do you think, Dang? What are the odds?
Actually, you know what? He might do it. On the right, Brax is up against Lich, the roadblock. More airs on jkoper's side. Looks like Brax is on the right-hand side, only hit for 168. Knight hits for 496. 2 shots Lich. He's got his 3rd orb lit. jkoper makes his way to Tiamat. He's going to go for his 4th orb, which opens up Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Yeah, so it looks like right now Braxis mused about if he go modes Sky, which I imagine he will do, he should have a lot of the same gear that jkoper has, minus 1 ribbon because he never checked mermaids. Then he should be only about like maybe 5 or 6 minutes behind jkoper at this point. Let's see how this Tiamat battle goes. Tiamat kind of tickled his knight there for a second. As he goes on ahead and throws up his buffs, he's throwing out some tempers, some power bonks. We're going to see what happens here. He's going to go on ahead and fade it up now that he's got some tempers out. He hits for 660. Wow. Ink coming out. Oh, darkening his ninja. His ninja's not going to be able to do anything. A fade comes out, 246. Tiamat is down. He's lit up his 4th orb, and he is going to go on ahead, and he's going to make a run at Topher.
While that was going on the right, Brax did check the Dwarf Cave, gave him the power bonk, so that puts him in a good spot in Temple of Fiends Revisited. If anything bad happens, that Knight can buff himself to be able to, get a stronger hit for if he needs it.
King of Vithin, I would have to assume that temper does mean as in tempering a blade when you harden it after bringing it up to temperature and then of course quenching it in oil or water. But I mean, you could make your blade angry too if you want to. You can just like talk smack to it during battle and then he's all angry and hits harder.
So at the 2-hour, and we'll give him 2-hour 1, 2-hour 2, jkoper is going to enter Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Algernon's correct. Quenching grubs. If you want to have a brittle blade that breaks, then go on ahead and quench it in water.
Unrunnable gas dragons. Okay, these things can be annoying because they have a lot of health. They can use up a lot of your charges if you need it. He might be able to get away with just attacking them.
Yeah. Luckily, I want to say they may not be weak to ice, but they don't resist ice. So ice does work on them. As you can see, putting up reasonable damage. He goes on ahead and resets out. I don't blame him on that. He doesn't need unrunnable battles at this point. He needs to move it.
Yeah, Masa hit for 2 hits, so they probably are on the more evade side.
And jkoper's got some serious nerves going on. I can see it. He sees unrunnable Gasties again, goes on ahead and resets out.
So jkoper's in the lead, maybe about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, depending on how Brax's encounters go. Brax needs to get through Mirage and Sky. He's in Sky now. He needs to get through the Bridge of Destiny. Hopefully not take on Warmech, but at the same time he might need the levels. He's behind in levels compared to jkoper.
Yeah, geez, these Gasties are just they seem to be the only encounter here on the floor. And at this point, I would go on ahead and take this battle. He's already had to reset out of it twice. The Gasties do give decent enough experience, and hopefully he can just get through this battle without too much time lost and too much health lost. And it looks like he did. They didn't roll that many hit points, and he went on ahead and got to level 24 on his Knight, which means he's going to get that extra hit with that Massa.
Griggly, I just want to point out that you've been playing your black belt a little too much. Not everybody goes to 42 like you do.
I know. It's just 42. It's just such a good number. It just gets me all warm and fuzzy on the inside seeing that number pop up.
I mean, 42 on a black belt is a very nice level number there, or nice number, because that's when they basically go Super Saiyan and punch everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Washed Up helping me out with those Gasty facts as far as ice is concerned, and it does look like they do take. They are in fact weak against ice, and like Lord of the Synth says, not only does the black belt become godly at level 42, but 42 is the answer to everything in the universe. Today
I learned.
Yeah.
jkoper made it to the Earth floor of Temple of Fiends Revisited. We might see the green Medusas, which have been very popular as of recently, from a certain match between Tristal and Wilcliosis. There they are. Will they have anything special?
We're about to find out real quick. Looks like they have, they have some hit points. Not many. Looks like they're hitting for 4.
Yeah.
Got a crit on there. He got away from that battle, which is unfortunate because 7 green Medusas are going to give you lots of lots of experience points. It looks like we're going to see our first Temple of Fiends Revisited Fiend. Like we're about to hit up Lich 2 right now. We haven't seen anything too terribly nasty from the Fiend, so let's see what happens here in Lich.
He's going to go with the full-out attacking offense. 3 hits, 52. Ice 2 comes from Lich. That's not going to do a lot except for the one red wizard that doesn't have any ribbon. Will he swing again? Looks like he's swinging again with it. The katana comes out. 166, Ice Sword, 8 damage, Lit 2. Okay, there's a lot of Lit 2s in the boss pool. The Knight with the Massa, 5 hits, 500. That's going to do a lot of damage. See you later, Lich. You once again did nothing.
Yeah. Lich went on ahead and pretty much hit the expectations that we have for Lich 2, which is not a lot.
To answer the question, yes, he does have fast, because we've seen it against the Tiamat Fat.
Yes. And Varys pointing out, Washed Up pointing out, me, Brawler, yeah. Just like the B-Belt, does, pretty good fighter in that there Smash Brother game. Let's see what's happening here. So Braxis Muse still trying to make his way through what appears to be Sky, whereas jkoper is on the fire side of things. He's about to hit up Carrie and see our second Fiend battle here in Temple of Fiends Revisited. See what he decides to do. He looks like he's going to attack. He's going to throw some fades out now, so he's attacking twice. Throwing out fades. We got 5 hits for 235. Fade comes out for 105. A little bit of a low roll. Ninja crits 135 and 142. Carry comes out, hits for 6 for 60. So not much damage, at least not to his Knight there. 51 damage. We got 7 damage and then a wasted turn with that ink. And there we go. That was it. Wow. The Carrie goes down and she proves that she is a little less scary than she can be sometimes. What do you think about that, Dang?
Carrie's generally class. Ooh, on the right-hand side, I blinked and Brax lost 2 of his light warriors instantly. Was that rub? Oh yeah, the fire hydrants had rub, so they managed to get through since he doesn't have a lot of ribbons. And I don't think he ever got the pro rings. But carries generally the first roadblock for most encounters. In this case, didn't really do a whole lot.
And I'm assuming Braxis did not pick up that life charge, that life 2 for that particular red wizard, or go back for that life charge that was in Elfland, because it doesn't look like he's bringing his people back. So he has 2 red wizards. I guess he chose not to go with life 2. I mean, I know 2 was pretty stacked, but let's go ahead and call this Kraken 2 battle. You go on ahead and do that, Dang.
Kraken hits 217 with a stone touch, but okay, so we get the defense out plus a white shirt. The ninja attacks for a little 84 damage. I would definitely cast some more defense. You don't want your knight getting stoned.
No, absolutely not. And then Praxis going on ahead and taking on Tiamat 1, which we know didn't have much going on, but we didn't get to see much of what Tiamat was doing. And right now it looks like jkoper's throwing out some white shirts. Kraken misses, which is always a good thing to see, because sometimes Kraken hits hard.
Kraken definitely hits hard. Luckily, Moss comes out 436 on the right. Tia kind of putting up a little bit of fight right now, not doing a whole lot. Another white shirt comes out. Stone touch on the ninja again. 5 hits, 522. He's already done 1,000 damage to Kraken. On the right, if you blinked it, Tiamat died. Braxis is heading to Temple of Fiends Revisited. This should be the next... Oh, Kraken rolled really high on the health. Okay. Does Kraken hit and stone touch the next thing? Or maybe a nuke? Make it a little more interesting?
Oh man, that's the last thing the runner wants to see, and he goes on ahead and takes Kraken out. Kraken obviously pretty upset that her sister Kraken 1 gets bracked so easily, so she went on ahead and brought out some stone touch to show these light warriors what bracking's really all about.
That was not something I was expecting, the stone touch. I mean, I would definitely take it. How funny would it have been if jkoper didn't have any softs? I mean, that would have been a very awkward position.
Yeah, I would assume he'd have to. I mean, I would definitely still keep taking the battles. Unfortunately, he is taking on the Twilight fan club, and they are unrunnable. And while the vampires are kind of pushovers in this game, they do still hit pretty hard. So we're going to see how this battle goes for jkoper. As Braxis Muse does get out of air, he does check Locked Canaria, and he's going to go on ahead and, I assume, head over towards Temple of Fiends and make his way into it about 10 minutes behind jkoper. Brax is, in fact, in go mode. I guess he wanted to check and see what was in those chests. Maybe he wanted, like, an extra ribbon, because he does only have 1 ribbon. We've only seen 2. One of those ribbons, in fact, was in Mermaids, and we never saw the 3rd ribbon. Most of the chests were open in this game, so I assume it was in either Locked Temple of Fiends or Locked Marsh.
Brax had to shop. He had to do a 2-man strat against Tiamat to kill the Queen of Dragons. So now he is in go mode. He had to revive all of his light warriors. He didn't have life 2, or maybe he used up all the charges when he was on the Bridge of Destiny.
All right, we got
Tiamat 2 on your left.
Yep. jkoper going to go on ahead. He's going to think about what he's going to do. He's going to go on ahead and he's going to temper up his knight. Red Wizard throwing out a fade and a white shirt, so he's going to throw out some defense, make sure he's nice and defensed up in case Tiamat decides to have all the hits that Kraken didn't have. So you got a fade coming out for 124, and Tornado comes out and just starts wrecking his party. Luckily, pretty high levels, obviously didn't wipe anybody, but definitely did some damage to his people. He's trying to think about what he wants to do. Is he going to do a heal? Is he going to throw out a fast? Looks like he throws out a fast. And a heal too, give him some more HP as he continues this battle. Then Knight comes out, 10 hits, 363, is that what I saw? Then Fire 3 comes out doing minimal damage, but enough damage. Heal 2s, he's going to go on ahead and throw a couple more of those out and see how that goes. As Braxis Muse, he does make it past the Phantom, and then Tiamat goes down, 10 hits, 664. We've only got one more floor until jkoper makes it to the final Fiend Chaos.
It was kind of it was kind of terrifying for him at the start. You know, when you see a tornado come out, that does a lot of damage. That is elementless. Basically, ribbons don't protect you. You have to rely upon your magic defense to save you on it. And as you've seen, it took a lot of health out of his warriors. And if a swirl would have came out, or a nuclear, or a nuke, you know, he could have been in bad shape there.
All right, looks like jkoper's going to go on ahead and get his gear together, get everything where he wants it to be, and get ready for this Fiend to Fiends battle. He's going to go on ahead and do this thing. He's going to try to go on ahead and move up to that 2-2 slot, be 2 wins, 2 losses. He's going to go on ahead and defense up. He's not sure what he's going to do. He's only got 1 temper charge left on that ninja, and then at that point, he should have put that ninja in the front slot since he doesn't have much going on. Throws a fast out there, and then he's going to throw a fast on his ninja, which I like that play. He's going to make both of his people like kind of hitters, especially with that katana. It's got good crit abilities. He's going to power bonk. Looks like more white shirts are going on, and he's going to throw out a fade. I like the plan. So he's going to attack with his ninja, throw out white shirts, get himself nice and defensed up. Looks like we got 5 hits for 61. Lots of absorb. Chaos hits 2 for 201 is what I saw, while Lich is being taken on Braxis Muse on the right here. As we saw earlier, Lich 2 didn't really have much going on, so I imagine he's going to make it through that battle pretty easily. Chaos missing, so he's got enough of his defenses up, or at least enough of it to make that happen. His ninja goes and hits, gets a crit out there, 6 for 184. He's got to start, I don't know, I'm thinking he's got to start putting some tempers out there. At least on his knight, so he can get all the damage he can possibly get out of his knight. Hit. Oh, 10 hits, 1452, and he's still standing. Wow, and Praxis Muse makes it. He's heading towards carry right now. He's about to end up in the carry battle. Chaos has got to really do something if he's gonna slow jkoper down. But I can't imagine Chaos is gonna live much past this next hit. Wow, 9 hits, 16 something or another, and we know right now that Chaos has well over 3,000 hit points. And he's just thinking about it, but Chaos, another free turn, and it's over. 256, Chaos goes down. jkoper takes it down, first place, with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 19 seconds.
Talk about Masa doing work there. Wow. That was some big numbers. Not a whole lot of tempers. I mean, there was a good amount, but that thing was doing work early. That Chaos was beefy, and, well, didn't bring much to it. We didn't see nuclear, we didn't see any of the nukes, any of the dangerous spells, really. We've seen the Inferno, but that's not going to do a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, Chaos was definitely going all punch happy. I mean, Chaos may have had something, Tia, Kraken too, all those guys may have had something later on in their spells or abilities list that they just never got to because they were too busy trying to players down instead of actually using their abilities. But yeah, like you said, no nuclears, no nukes. I didn't see any of that in this race.
Now, while Brax is making his way down, I just want to kind of give some people some scheduling for future matches. Tomorrow at 6 p.m., Elastoid versus Itristal right here on Speed Gaming. It looks like it's going to be on the main channel, Speed Game. 8 o'clock, St. Von Jester versus Mizada. That's at 8 on Speed Gaming 5.
Hold on, real quick. What's happening at 9:30 tomorrow night, though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. There's a special race I think going on at 9:30 tomorrow night. Do you know who's racing?
Yes, it's the Battle of Postgraduates. Myself, Deng Wu, up against the Asher, 1611.
Oh, that's going to be an awesome match. And unfortunately, I didn't sign up to do comms on it. I just couldn't get the time off because I really wanted to call that race with Braxis Muse. But Lyra is going to be doing it. Braxis and Lyra are going to be calling that race for you and Asher. And I'm excited to see it because you and Asher are my buddies. And it should be a very interesting 2-in-1 match. And it looks like Braxis is going to go ahead and take on Kraken 2. Maybe Kraken 2 will do a little bit more besides turn all of his characters into stone. Let's see what happens here.
It could be rough. There's only one white shirt, Quad X. That's not going to do much. Braxis doesn't know about Stone Touch. He's going to defense up again. That knight should be protected if he gets the defense out. White shirt out. Okay, Kraken didn't stone me. That's good. The little the Vorpal hit from Danny for 48 chip damage. All right, looks like he's going to go on an all offensive attacking Lit 2. Okay, this is like a completely different Kraken. The other one went all punch happy, turned a bunch of jkoper's fighters into stones, statues. Let's see here. We got Brax, the knight finally hits. 4 hits, 192. Brax's knight looks like he's under level 24, so he doesn't have that 5th hit. But he does have that cool little sprite, or color sprite. 4 hits, 208 from the knight. This blue-red multicolored Kraken here is giving Brax a little run for the money here. Not doing a lot. 3 hits, 14. Vorpal hits, 3 hits, 17 or 67. Katana hits, not for very much again. He must be trying to save charges here. I haven't seen him cast anything. Kraken swings, a whiff. Katana doing some damage. Masa doing just the same amount of damage. Ooh, that's a crit from Kraken. Says, I can crit just as badly as you can. Knight finally hits for 124. There we go. The multicolored squid is down.
And it looks like we got jkoper in the booth with us. GG's jkoper on your race. Good game.
Thanks. I don't know. It's kind of funny that I won with a 216. I don't think that wins many races in this tournament.
Well, I mean, with the loose items where they were, I mean, have to be rod locked in that very last chest. A lot of racers aren't going to check that chest early on.
Right.
You know, especially since it took a while to get there. You'd have to do ice to get the bottle, to get the rod, and then know that you had to go to Earth to do all that stuff. But first off, before we ask you any questions, it looks like Braxis Muse is going to go on ahead and take on Tia too. So let's go on ahead and focus on this match real quick. Tia goes on ahead and throws out that tornado right off the get-go. And Braxis is going to go on ahead and throw up some evade. We've got some hits going out. We got a defense, some white shirt. Looks like his red mage attacked. A little bit of a different strategy than we saw earlier. He's got his red mages attacking instead of tempering. I guess he's going to save all his tempers up for the final boss. And Tia goes out and throws out some fire threes, which is starting to wreck his party. His party's not looking too good. Oh man, that was not a good hit. 4 for 13, and his red mage goes down to a hit there. Ooh, and now his ninja is down. So he's got 2 light warriors up. His fighter with 333, his red mage with 133, and he's not really doing much damage with his fighter right now. So now he's changing up strats, but he's letting Tiamat live too long. She's getting further into her spell list, so into some spells we haven't seen yet. Looks like he's got the temper out, got a power bonk. He's going to attack for 297. Still got a long ways to go, and it looks like his other red mage is down. Danny's down is down to his fighter, and his fighter goes out and hits for 4 hits, 159, makes it through the battle with his sole fighter. He's got 3 life, 2 charges. He's going to be able to bring all his light warriors back. Whew.
So now that solves the reason why he had a 2-man on the Bridge of Destiny is because his knight died from that rub, and he didn't have any life charges.
That's brutal.
So on your jkoper, this is Dangwu. I just wanted to say GG to you first and foremost. That was an interesting beginning. Level 1 spells. You look at it, you get the confuse, stop, and ice. Essentially, what was on your mind at that point?
Time to move on. That's it. You know, let's go. Well, I'll check the white magic shop first, of course, to see if there's anything crazy in there, and then find a weapon and kill things with our bare-handed plus weapons.
I mean, that's a good point. You know, you just got to go and leave, but you both made the play. You both went to Elflin, or you both went to Provoke and Matoya's, and then you both walked all the way around and checked out Elflin. You guys got the canoe, and you both kind of went over to Volcano. But once you guys had checked and got the floater, you remembered that Volcano had the Excalibur and the katanas and some armor, and I think that helped you a lot. Was there any ideas of you doing a class change first and checking other incentivized locations, or were you dead set on that Volcano for all that gear?
Yeah, I just wanted the gear and the money before I did anything else, and it was convenient. So, I don't think there's much reason not to do it right away and get those swords and stuff and make the rest of my life easier until I actually found some spells, which still took a little while after that.
All right, I hate to interrupt this interview here, but Braxis Muse is going on ahead and taking on Chaos right now. He's throwing some stuff out there. I guess one of the main reasons he didn't use earlier on is because I think his red mages are out of temper charges, so that's why he hadn't had any tempers going on, and I'm not sure if he has enough levels to even throw fast onto his fighter. But now he's going for Bane strats, which Bane strats work. Spells app knows all too well how well Bane strats work, so it looks like he's thinking about what he's going to do. Oh, Ali Jabrat pointing out he doesn't think he actually went back to learn fast, which I could see that as well. And looks like he's throwing out tempers. We got a Bane coming out. It's ineffective. Got temper. Looks like another Bane. He's going to attack. He's just going all Bane strats. I don't blame this at this point. You may as well just try to do something to get some damage on Chaos. Looks like his other red wizard goes down. He's going to throw out one more temper. Let's see what happens here. An attack. 2 hits. His ninja's down. 4 hits for 992. We know that this Chaos was beefy. Had well over 3,000 hit points. And Inferno comes out, takes out his red mage. And there goes Chaos. 1,011. Oh, Braxis just putting us up against it with that win. With his fighter alive. GG's Braxis Muse. Wow, with an official SRL time of 2 hours 26:30. Sorry to interrupt. jkoper and Dangwu, continue.
No, it's all right. It was a good point. He was pulling Chaos, but I mean, jkoper, I mean, you did exactly what you needed to do, and I mean, for question wise, the Egmos were kind of beefy, but you grinded them up to about 18 or 19. I think that was a big difference on that. Was there any way of you not doing that? Maybe if they casted spells or had like even more HP, because I think they had like 325 health.
Well, they were still going down in one round easily. Had a lot of strength there. I don't think I went to 18 or 19. It's more like 15, maybe. I just wanted enough to make the rest of the seed easier where I wasn't going to have to do too much grinding. Still ended up killing about 50 lobsters anyway. But I don't know. That was kind of fun, but it was maybe that was a blessing because it was nice to have those levels in the end for this chaos and such.
Yeah. Well, GG. Seriously, that was a really good race. Obviously, coming out 10 minutes ahead of Braxis, it gets you into the 2 and 2. So you're right there in the middle. You're going to definitely get involved in that last, depending on no matter what happens in week 5, you're going to get into that final, winner takes all last chance to get into the play-in race, or you could end up in the play-in race. So you do have a chance there. So I thought it was really good. I enjoyed a lot of your strategies. You checked all the places, you got all the things done, and overall you were able to get through the game and win it. So we have Braxis Muse in the booth with us. GG's.
GG. Good lord.
Yeah.
Hey, Braxis, GG.
That has got to be the 5th seed that I played this week with such a horrible start.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it with jkoper a second ago. I mean, you walk into that first shop and you see spells like Confuse, Ice, Stop, and then all the good white magic is unlearnable. Like, what do you do?
I'll tell you what, I took that Confuse and put it to work on them wolves and them creeps and ogres. It was like the only thing I could think to do to get a little bit of XP before I went to Marsh, because depending on how bad Marsh was, I wanted to have as many charges of spells to get in and get out. And like, I chose not to dive the top part of Marsh. I chose only to get the 3 chests on the 3rd floor there, and then get out, and hoping that it would go back. And then same with the Sea Shrine. Getting to that Kraken was so miserable. I mean, I tried the meme strats with the mage staff, and it just didn't pull through for me. And that was probably a good 10-minute time loss, there. But
yeah, we noticed that during that battle. I'm sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you, Dang. We noticed that during that battle that you you didn't have the defense sword equipped on your fighter, and then you also just against all RNG, just all those Brack charges that you threw out there, just none of them stuck. And at that point, you just had to be like, what's going on here?
Well, when none of the Bracks hit and I didn't have anything, I went with the Ice, I think it was next, and I was just hoping to get crits off the light axes, and I didn't realize, I guess, right away that I had the defense sword in my inventory. But at that point, it was too late to equip it, because as soon as I finally reset, killed Kraken, and came out, or when I came back out, I made sure to equip that. But yeah, it was just like the whole start was just like a lot of running around, but like absolutely no magic. So I struggled a ton trying to get XP, and then I finally decided to grind out the gold there at the bottom of Lefane to get the cube, and that's where I got the majority of my early levels, was right there on them zombies.
Yeah, I do have one more question about your run real quick. What made you decide to go back to Volcano so late in the game, knowing that you had pretty good gear in there to get you through certain areas of the game? Like, you didn't go back to Volcano for quite a while after you did your tail turn in.
Yeah, I was trying. I think it was because a lot of it was like there was a lot of things running through my mind, and I was trying to do as much stuff in order without backtracking. And I knew if I went to Volcano right away, that I'd have to then come back to the top. So I was trying to be as productive as I could by doing that. But I mean, honestly, I could have probably used some of that armor a little bit early on, and I chose to take the early dive too, right there, right after we got the canoe, hoping that maybe I'd find like early mass immune, or maybe like early gold bracelet, or something that would give me, money to buy some better gear. And the only thing that was in there was like X-Cal and a few other things that I just couldn't use right away.
No, that makes sense. Absolutely. We talked about how both you and jkoper were finding amazing gear that you just couldn't use until you could find that floater. Which luckily the floater was down in Marsh Cave, so you were able to get in the air once you made it through that area.
And I will say I was really excited, not to cut you off, but to see that Marsh Cave was probably the tamest marsh that I've ever experienced. And it was so nice because, like I said, the only thing we had was Stop, Confuse, and Ice Spell.
Yeah. Yeah, so jkoper, how did you feel about Marsh and that early game and then of course once you got in the air, how did you feel about the routing decisions that you made?
Well, the marsh wasn't completely tame because something had the 3 down there.
Ghouls.
Yeah. So that was a couple of quick resets for me. But
Yeah,
other than that, it was nice because you could run from everything. The whole seed. It didn't seem like there were too many forced encounters. The unrunnables were like the lobsters and the gas dragons in Temple of Fiends Revisited. I don't even know what else. Nothing too crazy.
And I didn't see anything really in Topher that was like really bad, other than like Kraken had some, like a spell list and stuff. But for the most part, Topher was pretty easy considering I think I was only 21 when I was in there.
jkoper would like to have the words with you on that one. Kraken had stone touch, and 2 of his light warriors were turned to stone by Kraken.
None of his guys got turned to stone.
No, but 3 of them died, all but my fighter. But I had
He
like
had a lot better turn order. With his, he was able to get off 2 white shirts plus 2 defense swords before Kraken decided to even attack.
Yeah, I would say he had better turn order in the sense that Kraken just went full on like magic using as opposed to attacking. It seemed like, right? Because I mean, he lost all of his light warriors. It was pretty wild. Yeah.
Now I gotta ask, when we both got the rod, did we both basically V-line right for Earth Cave, thinking maybe the incentivized item was there? Because I was really hoping it was, and it would pay off in the long run, and it actually ended up being the chime for me, which was good, which meant I didn't have to do Mirage or Sky Tower.
You got the rod pretty late, though, if I remember correctly. You had already checked sea. You had already done fire before you even did the bottle, the turn in for the rod, which was the bottle turn in. So I think that was kind of the last place you had to go besides checking all the key locked locations because you had just found the key at the moment. Whereas I think jkoper had found the rod a tiny bit earlier than you and still had to clear out sea.
Were there any other ribbon found? Because that's the only reason I checked Dwarf Locked and Canary Locked, hoping maybe I would come across the second ribbon before I entered Topher.
jkoper, where
I don't remember. Was there one in like Northwest Castle or something maybe?
that was in Mermaids.
Was it? Oh, he didn't go there?
Nope. I chose not to. I wanted to, I skipped out hoping that I wouldn't have to backtrack, and luckily I didn't have to.
All right, gentlemen. Well, jkoper, GG's on your win against Braxis Muse. Do you have any final thoughts about this seed, or how you feel about going 2-2 going into the final week of Swiss rounds?
Well, I definitely want to avoid that winner-take-all thing, so let's hope I can get into the last chance race next week. We'll see, but I'm sure it'll be a tall order. But, good game, Praxis, and thanks for the restreaming commentary tracking, as always.
Well, thank you. Braxis, now that you're 1-3, you're one loss away from hanging out with the confused old men. How do you feel about week 5 coming up?
Well, I think a lot of it's going to depend on like what we have for captain and band. This week for me was rough. Like I said, I probably played a total of 7 seeds this week, some SRL, some practice, and actually I was only able to complete 2 out of the 7 seeds I did because the magic, Whitelock magic, was just so terrible that there was just like almost nothing available. And like I said, going into here tonight, I just wanted to be able to finish, whether I got first or second. Just being able to finish is all I wanted.
Well, you definitely put on a good race, and you definitely did finish. You made it through Topher on your first try. I think obviously you mentioned it already. The thing that really held you back was that Kraken battle was pretty rough, but it was still an awesome game. It was a pleasure on my end watching both of you guys race. Chat was awesome, and it was just a good maiden voyage for me as far as doing commentary. So Dangwoo, go ahead and see us out of here.
Before that, I want to kind of go over some future races that are going on for the week. We have plenty more round 4 action of the Swiss rounds. Tomorrow at 6 p.m., Elastoid versus Nitristal MTG. That's on the Speed Gaming 1, the main channel. We have at 8 o'clock, St. Von Jester versus Mazada on Speed Gaming 5. At 9:30, yours truly, Dang Wu, will be taking on fellow recently graduated Asher 1611 on Speed Gaming 4. Thursday, we got Doogie MacGyver versus Sawney Wrath. We don't have a channel yet set up for that one, but that's going to be at 1 p.m. At 8 p.m. on Thursday, Crab Cakes versus Shadow Walker. Commentary on duty is Wilkliosis, so if you don't know the runners, you should know the Wilkliosis. You should show up for that one and listen to him. He does an amazing job. At 9:30 on Thursday, our very own tracker, Ellie McGurbrap, takes on Gouda 632. And Friday, this Friday, on May 3rd, Pizzapotamus versus Spellzap, one of my fellow graduates. At 10 o'clock on Friday, Lord Fizzlebeef versus Arson Horse. And at 10:30, Melee Wizard versus Captain Nerd. And we have one set up on Saturday, Caleb versus Len the Cat at 1 p.m. So we have plenty of more action of Final Fantasy coming up. I am Dangwoo. I was alongside, for his first time, Gregley Puff. I would like to thank Speed Gaming for allowing us to broadcast this. You guys have always been awesome to us. You, the fans, always make it entertaining. Brax and jkoper, thank you for racing. You guys did an excellent job. Just wanted to, just say y'all have a great night, and hope you enjoyed the show.